All right, everyone. Welcome to the show, to the forum this evening. We have a 3-hour show that we're going to go ahead and get started. Joining us here live in the forum this evening is our brother, our dear brother, Bobby Hemmitt. Some will say he is the modern-day Nostradamus, but we definitely know that this God has some very powerful information that he's going to be bringing and sharing with us tonight. A very, very spiritual night that's going to be going on right here in the remix. So please, everyone, let's give a very, very warm welcome to our brother Bobby Hemmitt.
All right. I'm in the house. Yeah.
Yes,
Finally,
yes, you're in the house.
Months. Yeah, after months, and people had me dead and stuff. They had the rumors going around. We'll explain all of this stuff because everything is happened for a reason,
right.
But it all came out and to our benefit, and all. So in this particular aspect, I guess Nostradamus would be a little low on the totem for me right now because what I've been going through was the God process and all of that, and so things happen. So glad to be back. Like I said, this is the first time I did anything this year on Blog Talk, and I did very little lectures actually this year, not by my doing, but by the spirit world. And a lot of people, when I say, well, the spirit tell me I can't do this or I don't do this, a lot of people can't understand, but that's how you get the benefit. When the Spirit's telling you not to do something, that's how you get the benefit. Take case in point. On the 8th of January, which was Elvis Presley's birthday, we said, wow, Elvis. Well, it's interesting here. Anytime the Racist History Channel come on and tell you that Elvis was a black man, and he's black, because they're not going to do that. You see what I'm saying? They put very little black history on there. So when they came in and said that he was a part of a tri-racial people called the Melungeons, then he's black. And they named Abraham Lincoln and, Ava Gardner. But we'd done the research on Abraham Lincoln and that whole, those so many black presidents and stuff. That's the research been coming out since the 70s. But so they told me what had happened was early that morning, I woke up and I turned on CNN, and CNN had an article. Well, they had a thing that had the guy, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, was talking about an article that was broken, I think, from the Washington Times, that they had done research, and they said that black people who stayed further away from the equator, which is talking about, the equator being in Africa, the people that stayed further away from the warmer climates and stuff was coming down with more heart attacks. And they said because for some reason they don't produce enough vitamin E. So as a result, now I saw that morning, went to see a movie called Daybreakers, and they was talking about the vitamin E in the Daybreakers movie. So in the theater, they told me, they came to me in the theater because the movie had all kind of stuff. It's a movie to be studied because it dealt with all types of stuff, and they was dealing with melanin. I mean, so many words. Any kind of research on the blood is basically melanin. And so the spirits came through and said, when you go home, take down everything off the website. No Facebook, no MySpace. Take it off the website. Now, so I don't argue and stuff because I know there's a reason for certain things. So then the 13th, so that was the 8th, the 12th. Haiti hit. The earthquake in Haiti. The next day was my mother's birthday. On the 13th, on the 11th, we went to some a regular black thrift shop in the black community, and I go through there to find types of rare things. Every now and then some stuff will show up, but highly unlikely a Venezuelan statue would show up, which is Marie Leonza riding a horse, a naked Indian, Native American riding a horse. And Maria Leonza showed up, and I bought the statue. Then come to find out that Venezuela also got hit by an earthquake.
They sure
you see what I'm
did.
saying?
Yeah.
Got hit by an earthquake. So there's certain things that started to correspond. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to go through a chronology of what led up to now. And what went through, and then I have to explain several reasons why I had to go and be on hand to assist certain amount of people. So therefore, assist certain amount of people. So this all started. It all started in the fall of the year when they was doing the swine flu vaccines, and then we come to find out that the whole concept, and I think I talked about it, how the swine was connected to the part of the judgment scene, and the pig in the judgment scene of the Book of the Dead, Book of Coming Forth by Day. So what happened was is when the whole swine flu thing broke out and stuff, and this whole swine thing came up, we knew that it was significant, but we found out it was significant because that was the area of the Book of Gates, which is called the Book of the Underworld in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. That was the part of there where they basically, to transform the souls, they have to beat the swine out of the souls, or they have to chase the negative karma or negative energy into the swine. So they beat this negative energy into the swine, and this is what they do when people go crazy or get sick. In what we call the Twa people, you call the pygmy. They go get the swine and they if they got a person that went crazy, or a person that's mentally disturbed, they would chase the mental illness into the swine, and the swine goes crazy. Well, the same thing happened in the judgment aspect. So if this was going on, then we must say that we were in this part of the judgment. So we must understand the apocalypse, which we understand that particular text, those texts came from, they didn't originate in the Christian, in Christianity. Christianity was basically a composite of ancient texts. That's why you still can't throw the Bible out, because there's things that's in there, because it's a composite of ancient texts from the ancient world, which the new man would have not been able to decipher now unless he got one little comprehensive book. But that's a whole other thing. We'll go into that probably later on. But anyway, that particular revelation, that particular text is an alchemical text, but in the apocalypse it is because they have the same Persian apocalypse that you can also get in a book called Parallel Mythology by J.R. Berlin. And in that Persian apocalypse, the Persian apocalypse is almost identical to the Christian apocalypse as far as the book of Revelations. And they basically shamefully just drafted it and didn't, when you plagiarize something, they didn't hardly change anything. It's unbelievable how close it is in the Persian apocalypse, but you still can find that in this book, Parallel Mythologies. But that apocalypse is nothing but ancient text that came out of ancient Kemet. So it's a later day reworking of the Book of Coming Forth by Day, or what you call the Book of Gates, or the Underworld. And it's a later day reworking of that. But this apocalypse, might I add, is an apocalypse not of the physical world, although we do get glimpses of that mainly in the weather. It is an apocalypse of the soul. So as the physical world is the slowest process for things to trickle down. It starts in the spirit world and it trickles on into the third dimension, but that's the slowest process. That's the slowest route. But as things do happen, and you can see several things is happening in this particular physical world, the apocalypse is going on the inside of us. Number one rule, first rule of metaphysics is anything that you read, apply it to the inner workings of the body. There's the outer universe and there's the inner universe, and the inner universe is the real universe. You see what I'm saying? So this apocalypse is going on the inside of us. So now what we need people to do is pay close attention as we deal with this particular chronology. And so I might add, because I did a lecture in South Carolina. One brother drove up to see me, I think from Savannah, and he called later on. I think the next day. He said, "Well, he said, I believe you held back a little bit on him." And I was like, "No, I brought advanced information, but the problem here is you're not you're not used to going to these lectures, and you probably was introduced to me on Blog Talk or on the YouTube. I said, but there's a problem here is, unfortunately, when it comes to our people, we have been trained that when we hear a person talking before us, we have been trained in entertainment. So the preacher is the earliest form of when we get the type of commentary that would later on be something as a lecture that you would have now. It was the preacher, and the preacher has to entertain. How else can you tell the same story for 50 years and keep those people loyal? So it's a form of performance, a form of entertainment, and our people don't understand when you're talking about lectures, you shouldn't go to a lecture for entertainment. You should go to a lecture to learn. You see what I'm saying? To learn. And it's a psychological process, because if they went before a white boy lecturing, they would literally be trying to take down what he's saying, because they realize this is not a form of entertainment. But because of a black man with a southern accent, you see what I'm saying? With a southern accent, and somehow, because we have these blueprints in our subconscious that we can't really get rid of, or it takes a while to get rid of, we still look at things as entertainment. So brother say, one brother calls and says, yo, man, I ranked this lecture here at number 5. I'm like, number 5, man, I got 300 damn lectures. What is the information did you get? The ranks here, I see you rating something like entertainment, like this is the best album I did, or the best CD I did. And so that's the problem. We can't learn, and we don't process things because we have not learned how to study. And so therefore, I can say things over and over for 10 years, and the people that's been sitting before me are just be getting it because we don't internalize nothing. So therefore, we have to, and even with this blog talk, you should, even when you go back, you should have a pencil and a piece of paper and take notes. Because when you take notes, you basically work things into the subconscious mind. You see what I'm saying? Right. Luckily, you can reboot this back up and hear it over and over again. But, you know, over and over again. And all the people that was a part of the lectures that we did for the last 18 years, because it'll be 18 years this, June 27th, when I started lecturing, June 27th, 1992. Those particular people that used to go on lectures, they come with pencil and notebook. So therefore, we got to teach the people and all and this is knowledge. So do not look at this as entertainment. You see what I'm saying? As entertainment, and that way you can internalize what's going on. Now, first of all, I want to say that a certain incident happened. The brother Shabazz, that was credited for bringing me to New York between the time of 2003 to 2005. The brother Shabazz called and said he sent me something in the mail. And then when it arrived, it was a DVD. He basically called me every day, twice a day, to see that I look at the DVD. And I finally looked at the DVD, and it is it's called Dirty, the official story of Old Dirty Bastard. And so after I watched the DVD, I realized what it was. I realized why he wanted me to see this DVD. And then it got a little further than that. The vigorous attempt to call me twice a day to make sure that this thing got on, I said, okay then. This was actually ODB trying to summons me at this particular time because he wanted the same type of eulogy or the same type of thing that happened with Michael Jackson that me and Panic did, I think 3 days after Michael Jackson's death. Yes. So that's what we realized when I watched the DVD. I realized this was a summons and all because it was highly misunderstood, and there's a whole metaphysical meaning behind that and all. And this whole thing all came about when we tapped into some deities that is on the scene now from China called the 8 Immortals. We're going to get into that later on. But the 8 Immortals is also, you have the 8 Immortals, you got the 9 members of the Wu-Tang Clan, and the 9th member, which is the dead man, Osiris, which he started calling himself, represents that other realm. So nevertheless, we decided to do, I don't want to say a eulogy, I want to say a resurrection. Or an empowerment of ODB. And fortunately, we have the person to do that for the simple fact now. I don't want to sound like Jesse Jackson or somebody saying, nigga, you just talk about every damn thing. My introduction of rap is Sugar Hill Gang came out my senior year in high school. And I followed that up until all the way to the conscious rap, you know, from everything from Run DMC on going on into the conscious rap with, you know, with Public Enemy, KRS-One, X-Clan and all of that. And right at the time that the Wu-Tang Clan started coming out was right at the same time I started lecturing. So as a result, a lot of my attention fell into other areas and all. And although I heard it as a soundtrack and a backdrop, I wasn't privy to ODB in the aspect of just on the particular aspect that I could do the proper send away. In this particular case, this would have to be left up to Panic for the simple fact that, number one, he's from Brooklyn, and New York, and number one, he was a part of the industry. You see what I'm saying? And he was a part of the industry and stuff. So as a result, when is this, next Friday?
Yes. Next Friday. Yeah. The next show? Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. The next show, he's going to send the brother home. You see what I'm saying? The resurrection. So you all be sure to tune into that. Right. So and let me, if I can, Brother Bobby, I want to put that out, make sure everybody is clear, because a couple people are asking questions.
Yes.
Next Friday, Brother Panic is going to come on, so we're going to continue this sort of resurrection. Brother Bobby Hemmett, you're going to do it, and Brother Panic is going to come on next Friday and continue the resurrection of ODB, of the Wu-Tang. And so we'll get the information. Brother Bobby's going to drop that for us. That's what we're going through now. So, yes, powerful stuff, yes.
So we'll mention the 80 models. We'll give you the information. We'll give you the bibliography and stuff and find out what this era is in and why this transmission of this contact came so that we can do the brother right. And I implore you also to get the DVD, Dirty, the official story of ODB. So going right along, but remember now, bring your attention to that next week. You see what I'm saying? The end of the week with Brother Panic, you know, so we can do this the right way. All right. So going on, let me take you through this particular chronology, because you know time can slip by real fast.
Yes,
and I'm taking you through this particular chronology. First, it started with the swine, and we knew that we was in the part of the Book of the Dead, or that particular part of the apocalypse, or that particular part of the underworld, or what we would also call the resurrection. Next, on 12/12, I went to Birmingham, Alabama, and the people can get the past shows. I went to Birmingham, Alabama, and we resurrected the 4 girls that was in the church. They got blew up in 1964. We resurrected those particular sisters. And when I didn't know that this was what I was going to do, I thought I was going for a lecture. But it was reminded me with my queen that we had 4 goddesses that were found in King Tut's tomb. And those 4 goddesses that was found in King Tut's tomb were on standby. And the reason why I couldn't go to Alabama, let's say, for all of the 90s, and it was only an hour and a half away, hour and 45 minutes away. The reason why I couldn't go is the simple fact I didn't have the 4 goddesses that was in King Tut's tomb that also guards the 4 sons of Horus, but they also guards King Tut's tomb, or guards the king, or his sarcophagus, or the canopic jars, or where his organs is put in. And those 4 goddesses is Isis, Nephthys, Neith, and Serket. And so I only got those 4 goddesses in the statues in 2007. So which allowed me to go to Alabama, because I didn't know that I needed the 4 goddesses, or the knowledge of the 4 goddesses. When I got there, we took the 4 goddesses, and we told those 4 goddesses to resurrect those girls. Now pay close attention, because this is one of the crux of what is going on at this particular time. It's very key that you understand this process. I said, so you resurrect these girls. In the process of these girls, in turn, resurrect you. Well, we'll go back into that later. But I didn't know that those girls were stuck in that church since 1964 for 46 years. I didn't know this until when I got down to Alabama, and the people said, well, you know, it's common knowledge. Everybody ride by the church and see the girl standing up in the church. You know, and so as a result, it was an actual rescue or resurrection. Now, one of the keys here is, and C. Freeman L. used to talk about that, the great master C. Freeman L., that, you know, when you have a violent death and it was an explosion, or even car wrecks or certain things, you can get, your astral body can get separated from your physical body so fast until you don't know you're dead. You don't know you're dead. So as a result, these girls used to be, people would ride by and they'd just be standing up in the window. So in so many words, we resurrected these particular girls. We resurrected these girls, went through the holidays, but before that, we resurrected them on the 12th. On the 16th, we went to go see a horse show called Cavalia, and they had 8 white horses, and they had several other array of horses. It was unbelievable, but the white horse represents the god Kalki. Kalki is the last avatar of Vishnu, and that particular god, he comes in the realm of Sagittarius. That's where we were at the time, on the 16th, and of December. Now this is a couple of days after Birmingham. Birmingham was on the 12th. And so Kalki is the god of resurrection. Now that's very key, because when I go into some other things, a certain thing happened to me that in turn has a lot to do with the god Kalki. Kalki, he's called Kalki in India. It's the last resurrection of Vishnu, Vishnu being the Christ figure, the Horus figure of India. The last resurrection is the god Kalki. In the Buddhist manifestation of Buddha, the last manifestation of the Buddhist system is Lord Maitreya, same entity. And he's called several things, so that same last manifestation is also different forms of Horus and different forms of deities that is to come. So that Lord Maitreya information. So the god Kalki, the white horse, represented Kalki. Now it's interesting because it was a guy that came from India in 2008 he came from India to America, to Atlanta, when I was in London. And he came to bring the information of the god Kalki, because it said it was a prophecy in their system that they would have to come to the West and bring the information of the knowledge to Kalki to the African Americans. So, so when you had that Cavalia horse show with something like, I don't know, 5 to 6 or 8 white horses come to Atlanta, it also represented the rise of Kalki. It was very key. So moving right along.
Right.
The resurrection of the four sisters, which is also the resurrection of the 4 goddesses. Now, the day that those particular sisters was resurrected in Birmingham, Alabama, the movie The Princess and the Frog came out. Now, it's a deadly thing to turn the black woman into the frog, because when they turned her into the frog, that represents the goddess Hecate. And the goddess Hecate is this particular frog-head deity in in Egypt. And her job, now check this out, her job is to turn the old goddesses into the new goddesses. Now, very key, what we're talking about here, because this is very key, what we're talking about here, is when we go into this stuff, we're going to follow this stuff right up to this particular hour, because there's been some transformation that happened. So now, her job was to turn the old goddesses into new goddesses, and that's what happened. Remember I told the goddesses, I say, come and resurrect these girls, and they in turn will resurrect you. And that's an alchemical process. Remember, I talked about that the angelic host came in last year in 2009, and I said the angelic host is coming through, and they need our light to resurrect them because they are old deities. So they need our light, which is a new light, because it has been shut down in darkness so long until it is fermented as the wine, the vine, the light, the Christ light, which is in everyone. So so I said they in turn, those particular angelic hosts, need our light to be resurrected. And as a result, in a symbiotic relationship, they resurrect us. Now remember, angels and gods, some civilization call them angels, some civilization call them gods. They're all the same. Now, moving right along. So, those new deities, those new girls, and the goddesses were mauled together as a resurrection. As a result, they raised up the four sons of Horus, which is the four winds. And all that bad weather we had up north, even had some snow twice down here in Atlanta. All that bad weather we had this year was those rising of the four sons of Horus. The four sons of Horus, which leads us to the new year. So the first thing happens on the 8th, they tell me to shut down the website. Shut down the website, and people freak, you know.
Yes, they did, Brother Bobby.
So we, and so to shut down the website, and then the whole Haitian thing, and then all of a sudden, but one of the blizzards that happened in December canceled my lecture in Baltimore. So that lecture had to be rescheduled. It had to be rescheduled for January the 16th, which is a couple of days after the Haiti incident. So now, moving to that, this is one of the keys. So we go into January the 16th. That day in Baltimore, the first thing happened was, let me go back. That Friday, I started getting a little sick. So I had to get on the psychic horn and the spiritual telepathic waves to find out what the fuck is going on. I feel this energy. It was only for a few minutes, but it was like, well, look, these Haitian spirits are very angry, some of them, because they were the same spirits that helped fight in the Haitian Revolution. Very powerful entities. And it was like, well, you have to do something. So so as a result, later on that night, they came through and said, well, about a year ago, you put on the top hat as Baron Samedi and went into lectures and did what you had to do, and you did the whole thing on Baron Samedi. Now, as a result, you put on the hat, you got to do the ceremony. It's just like the movie, the Santa Claus movie. You put on the suit, you Santa Claus. So I went to Baltimore, and as a result, we had to go through a major ceremony. It's on the internet. One of those. It's on one of the DVD versions, and had to do a major ceremony. And as a result, I had to call out over 100 deities. I have a Bobby Hemmett's DVD list that's also available, and it has well over 100 something deities. So we're going to inquire about that when we go to the infomercial in a few minutes. But anyway, so as a result, I had to call out the major deities with the top hat, and all of the fixings, had the Haitian music, had all of this. And as a result, I said, what we're going to do, we're going to start with the lowers, and we're going to call out these other deities known to man. And on those particular deities, after we call them out, what's going to happen here is we want you gods to resurrect these souls, as in turn, they resurrect you. So this was not a eulogy that went on. This was a coming together of the souls. And I almost sprang my jaw calling out so many deities. Now, as a result, the next day, I was still in Baltimore. They say, you ain't going to New York to do this lecture next week. Next week. And I said, oh, yeah, well, okay then. And as a result, Baba Nu calls and said they got some discrepancy. They had a little feud between him and the sister, what have you, and that was my key to say, we're going to scrap that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I knew then that the Spirit, they told me as, you know, in the day before I was supposed to fly out, they told me, you know, no, you're not. So as a result, we had to shut that down. So as a result, they said, well, you know, you're going to have to take a little break. You're not going to do no lectures for the next couple of months. Now, so it's the same thing as they shutting down the actual website or what have you, the website. I said, well, you were saying it's so obvious there's something that's happening. So let me explain what this whole ordeal was, why I couldn't go and do something after the Baltimore lecture. After the Baron Sound incident, and we put those particular souls and mauled those souls with those gods and the souls to come. But we not only mauled those souls, the Haitian souls, we had to do Katrina, Rwanda, and the tsunami people. So as a result, not only did we have to do all that, what happened was when a person makes the transition, they have to go through a 49-day period of what is called the Bordeaux period. And the Bordeaux period is a 49-day period where they go through the process of turning into what they're going to turn into. In this particular case, it was a very delicate thing because they were turning into gods. So that's the beautiful part about all the souls that had transformed. They have morphed into these particular deities. You get where I'm coming from? So
yes.
As a result, that's called the Bordeaux period. So as a result, I couldn't go anywhere for the simple fact I had to be online as a form of at this particular time, all the energy was needed for these souls to go through the Bordeaux period. And the only time I got to go ahead to go and do a lecture was last Sunday, last Saturday, the day before Easter, was to do a lecture. So now stay with that, because as a result, we're going to go down to show you what has come of all of this. Okay. And where we are now. But right now, I want to take the opportunity right now to do my infomercial.
Yes,
and
please
what I mean
do,
by that is everybody talked about the stimulus packages. Let me give you an update. One sister down here, brother is in Iraq, and because he took the purple disc. They mailed him the purple disc, or he got the purple disc, or he received the purple disc. As a result, bullets bounce off this cat. You see, so the purple disc is saving people's lives. You see.
Yes, I wear mine every single day, every day.
Right. And as a result of the centrifugal force of the stimulus package, things are actually happening as far as people are getting their needs met. If only... If you don't get into the process of looking for the monetary fund to come, like you cash a check, the needs will be met. And so this is going. So there's all types of testimonials and stories on the stimulus package. What we have done is added 2 more Moorish seals. There's 2 Moorish seals, and those Moorish seals are seals for riches. And I just introduced a Ganesha Yantra, which is another seal you can put in your wallet. So we got the magical number 8, the Moorish seals, the Ganesha Yantra, and Ganesha, as you know, is the god that is the opener of the way, but he's also the god that removes obstacles. So we have a Ganesha Yantra, and we have all those particular things. We have produced also a picture packet, and this is what I need to explain, because one sister didn't get the concept of what this picture packet was. Those pictures that I had put together, and I mean it's well over 30-something or even more now of those pictures. It's well over $100 worth. If let's say if I was to sell them for $5, there's maybe close to $200 worth, but you're getting them for $50. And this is the key on this. why this picture packet is very important. I'm looking at this thing, and I'm fascinated by it as I'm producing it, because the simple fact, these are pictures that have been in my lectures since the beginning. So they have been acclimated and activated. So when one sister called and said, well, I can get all this stuff, I can go on the internet and I can pull down. I said, you ever heard the Native Americans say that a photograph steals your soul? I said, so those things don't have no power to them. I said, what has power to them is they got to be reactivated. So I said, can you imagine these pictures, the originals of these pictures and all of the lectures and all of those libations I was doing over the years? Can you imagine the kind of power? And then we talk about how those pictures respond, where we go to the copy machine and the spirits come into the copy machine. So these things are very powerful. Very powerful. We have those particular ones for $50. So for those particular people, you need to get your angelic stimulus package. You need to get your picture packets, and that number is 678-358-1055. 678-358-1055. Get the access to these particular things, especially the purple disc, because I'm going to go into some things tonight. We're not just doing a lecture just to give you information. We've been doing that for the last 18 years. We're going to go into some pertinent things tonight. And so that purple disc is very important. Those pictures are going to line up. Those pictures are going to line up with the incoming spirits. What they didn't realize is those particular spirits, when they resurrected those spirits, or when I was allowed also to help in the resurrection of those particular spirits, is those spirits are very powerful right now. To let you know, after the 49 days, I had just went and made a deal to get a $3,000 receiver, a $3,000 receiver, which they don't sell in this country. I had to get it through Canada, through a pawn shop. Had gotten some in from Canada. So I made some deals. It was $3,000, but used they had it down to like $7. Then I had to go turn in a receiver, and I had to make some deals, and I probably got it at $5. Brought it home, had it 2 weeks. Was playing some Haitian music, some Haitian voodoo music, and as a result, they came in and blew the receiver up. A receiver with 5,000 watts blew it up. So what happened was I went back down to the pawn shop. They had another one. It was $1,200, but what it was the same receiver that was $3,000. When stuff first, like when the big screen TV first came in, it was like $5,000. So so when this one first came in the late, like 97, it was like $3,000. This is a later model, let's say the mid-2000s, and so it's the same receiver, but it's an upgraded one, and it was $1,200. So because as time go on, technology price go down. So in so many words, the one that I have for $3,000 wasn't as good as the one I had to go back and get, because it was an upgraded model. The key here is the Spirit said, look, that's why we blew the receiver up, because we knew there was another one down there. We go, oh, he can go back and get that one. But just to show the power of those energies, they blew that receiver up. And so they was just showing. So this might not seem like nothing, but just hold on as we go on. You all right?
Yes, okay. yes. I want to jump in really quick, Brother Bobby.
Yes.
A couple of people are asking again. You guys, for CDs, DVDs, you guys are hitting me up wanting to know about how to get CDs. Maybe you're watching portions of it on YouTube.
Most of the DVDs you watch on Blog Talk, on YouTube is just snippets. We sell the uncut versions from the same number, 678-358-1055. And we sell the same ones, and those DVDs are 6 hours long. The ones from the 90s are 7 and 8 hours long. The ones in the 2000s, it wasn't that I was getting older and we had to settle it at 6. It's just sometimes we have to talk so they don't throw us out of the building. Otherwise, I'd be there all night. And then it started getting to the point where I was out talking to the audience, and the audience was batting their eyes in a stupor, because once I amp up with them when you see me do those libations, I'm actually amping up. And
yes,
so that might last for 12 hours. So I just had to cut it down in the 2000s to like roughly at 6 hours because the audience couldn't take the length, or they're going to throw us out because of the time, But anyway, but nevertheless, the majority of them are 6 hours to 8 hours and 7 hours long. The minimum is about 5 hours. Then you have your sit-downs. When you have your sit-downs, what you call interviews, those can be anywhere from 2, 3, 4 hours. But they can get those at that number.
Yes. So make sure, you guys, this is a way you guys want to know how you can support Brother Bobby and the work that he's doing. I will tell you guys, I have the picture packet, and no lie, the day that I got the picture, I had the African Venus that I really, really wanted. Brother Bobby sent that picture to me, and immediately she started really talking to me. I could really communicate, feel the energy off of it. The pictures are off the hook. Definitely my purple disc, I don't take it off. I have the stimulus check. That sure is, all of that is very powerful tools. 678-358-1055 as we continue with Brother Bobby live in the remix. And I'm your host, of course, Miss Bliss. All right, Brother Bobby, we're going to turn it back over to you.
Okay, now I'm reporting a master Italian brother. Them Italians, them ain't nothing but spaghetti niggas. There's an Italian brother that died. His name was William Arbello. I think he died sometime in last September or something. He was a master of the occult. He's been doing stuff since the 1960s. William Arbello made the transition, but what happened was he had a documentary, or he had a series out, a tape out, or a DVD out called Get Rich Quick Spells. And this guy's a master, which means he will show you how to do things in getting household products out of your kitchen to bring in money and finances. So that particular brother, once he made the transition, he came to me about 2 weeks ago and said, we need to get that particular information out as far as the Get Rich Quick information, and that particular monumental DVD on Get Rich Quick. Unbelievable information on how to use just basic things around your house and different things you can do to bring in loads of cash. So the Get Rich Quick aspect is William Arbello. So please inquire when you make your phone calls about that information and that particular DVD also. Yes. Now, I remember I told you about, first of all, I want to say this. I talked about this before the Christmas break, about we was waiting on this woman's book, The Immortal Cells of Henrietta Lacks.
Yes.
This book, it ended up coming out as The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. That's S-K-L-O-O-T.
Yes.
Yes, Rebecca Skloot. And it's called The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. And Henrietta Lacks is a person that they took her cells from her and used those cells for every form of research. They grow the cells in the lab, Johns Hopkins.
Yeah.
And it says the doctors took her cells without asking. These cells never died. And they launched a medical revolution and a multi-million-dollar industry. More than 20 years later, their children found out, and their lives have never been the same. So let me give you an update on that. Is the woman, Rebecca Skloot, or whatever that is, Skloot, this woman, she said that when she was in college and she heard mention of them taking this black woman's cells and growing them in a lab and also using them for all of this particular research, and she said she never forgot it. And as a result, years later, she's written this particular book, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, and it's a #1 bestseller on the New York Times. Now, and it was years later that the children found out. Now, one of the keys is this. What was the outcome of this? The children found out later, and now they have this particular, they put in something years after they took her cells that you can't sue the hospital or you can't get any money for the doggone research. So they did that to cover their behinds. And so, as a result, so the lady came to speak about 2 weeks ago here in Atlanta. So the sister Kimberly said, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the question, because she came to speak at Emory. Well, why don't you use some of the proceeds to the book? Because the book is #1 bestseller. New York Times, to help the family. To help the family, since the hospital had this thing that said that they can't sue or they can't get any money. So she ended up not going to the actual lecture. I don't know what happened. But one of her colleagues did go. And the colleague reported back to her and said when the girl came, the girl said that she set up a fund for those particular children to start getting money. And she said the proceeds started coming in like crazy. So that is a good ending of a story, that the woman, not only did she write this book, but she also set up a fund so those particular people could get that particular information. And so I just wanted to add that into a follow-up, because we didn't know the whole thing based on her offspring and what was actually going on.
Yes. We'll keep going. I got a channel on her, but yes, very powerful story. We're going to keep going, Brother Bobby.
And the good part about it, the book was such a #1 bestseller, so now they've already put it on audio. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
Put it on audio, which is good. So you can go to Barnes & Nobles or wherever, and you can order the actual audio. That's the good part about it becoming a bestseller. You can just get the audio and, and look at it that particular way. Now, remember I was talking about the god Kalki.
Right.
And Kalki is the last avatar of Vishnu. Now, you want to get his information, you want to go onto the internet, you want to type in the prophecies of the Vishnu Purana. The Vishnu Purana is where we get this information of Kalki about. Are we still on?
Yes,
hello?
we are. We are still.
Okay, yeah. The Vishnu Purana. Now, they give all these prophecies and basically every prophecy that they're giving when Kalki is to come back. And these are force fields. These are streams of energies that can be accessed in all of us. When we feel certain things strange, you see what I'm saying? Instead of some man coming back or some whatever, there's a current, a frequency comes back for those particular people who are aware. So try to understand how these energies work. So one of the things when the Kalki energy comes back is basically everything that's going on now, all the corrupt and the banks and everything that's going on in the world, nature being messed up, is in the Vishnu Puranas of what would happen. So they got the actual prophecies of how the world would be like when this particular last avatar of Vishnu. Vishnu being the Christ energy being a form of the pineal gland and the Kundalini energy. Know this. And a current, when the last installment or the last ray or current of the Vishnu's energy comes back, basically the Vishnu Purana is explaining the same stuff you see in the news every day. Basically, that's what the Vishnu's Purana is explaining. But you can go on the internet and download that. There's one part of the Vishnu Purana that I came face-to-face with on the 19th of February. 19th of February, I came face-to-face with this Vishnu Purana. One part, one of the greatest prophecies. Now, in the Vishnu Purana, they say this. They say that in the last days, man will eat the sacred cow. The sacred cow. Now, that might not seem anything to you now because the beef industry runs this country. You understand what I'm saying? But just follow me for a minute here. Say, man will eat the sacred cow. Now, let's say you was in ancient Egypt or ancient India, because in India, they don't eat the cow to this day. Even when McDonald's opened up, they had to sell turkey burgers or lamb burgers. Now, if you were in Kemet in the ancient world, and in some parts of the ancient world that later on started eating the cow, if you was in the ancient world, when these particular prophecies that was written, you see, even when they came down even orally, you would think that would be something ridiculous. It would be no different than, say, man will eat the sacred babies. You see, right now, if we say they got a group of people that live in a civilization and they eat babies, you would say, oh, this is horrible. Well, apply the same thing to a cow if you was in the ancient world. Are you getting where I'm coming from here?
Yes,
so
when
they're saying this particular prophecy, they're not saying this particular prophecy, oh, well, they're just looking and they say they're eating cows. No, they're saying it is a same equivalent of saying man is eating a baby. So, on the 19th, what happened is on the 18th, Spirit told me there was a statue of Erzuli. It was an Erzuli type looking statue, but it was a fountain. And they said, well, you need to go get that fountain because Erzuli needs that fountain to enrich the flow of those particular Haitian souls. So we went and got this fountain of an Erzuli sitting on these lotuses and stuff. And we plugged it up, and the next morning I got up and I threw up, and I started throwing up all day. So I threw up from, let's say, about 10 in the morning to about 1 o'clock that night on the 19th. And I'm saying to myself, well, there's something coming in. I already know this because I know when you go down to South America or when you go down to Africa, when you go to Africa, what they do is when they want you to go on a journey, when they want you to take a spiritual thing where you're going to tap into high information, they give you this root. You eat the root. You throw up everything until you purge yourself and clean yourself out, and there the spirit can dwell. Down in Peru, they got the same kind of thing. They give you this root, you throw up, and you throw up until you completely clean your body out. So what happened with me, I started throwing up in increments the entire day. So I threw up, couldn't keep nothing down. You see what I'm saying? The entire day, I said, now something is coming in. Something is coming in. So what had happened was there was a current by a god by the name of Apanuk. Apanuk is a deity that is down in Nubia. It's a three-headed lion deity that later on became a form of Sekhmet. He was an earlier form of Set in the pre-dynastic Set, which is the primordial deity, and he also is an early form of Ogun and stuff, of Ogun. So this Apanu energy started coming through, and I said, yeah, he would also be a form of Ra Heruka Hudi, or if you're in the Crawley system, Ra Har-Kuit, which is the 3rd chapter of the Book of Law, when they talk about Ra Har-Kuit will arise at the fall of the great equinox, when the double-wanded one will rise, Ra Heruka Hudi, or Ra Har-Kuit, and bring fresh silver from the skies. Now you pay close attention, because when we get on into this, we get ready to break this thing down. So this Ra Har-Kuit energy, which is number 19, a Sekhmet energy, this lion-headed deity that you can find in E. Wallace Budge's book called From Fetish to God in Ancient Egypt. E. Wallace Budge book, there's a picture of a god in Nubia. His name later on is Apanuk, but that's a later translation because we don't know, because Budge just said this lion-head deity of Nubia. So anyway, this entity started coming through on the 19th, and I said, yeah, because I've been throwing up. So what happened was, after, let's say about 12 o'clock, I came down with the shakes. It was almost like kicking heroin. If I had ever been on that, I'm quite sure that's how I felt. So I said, okay, I'm going to get off everything. So I said, okay, then we're going to shut down on drinking and everything, and just to see what it was. And I thought it was that, but it wasn't. I thought it was the drinking, but it wasn't. Because I don't drink. I can't drink during the day. I only drink during my music. You know, I take 3 sips. So it wasn't that. What it was, what we found out what it was, about a month later, I messed around and ate a damn steak and cheese. And came down with the same shakes. So what was happening was, it was saying, what it was, they was purging me of the beef. The beef. Now, what is happening, and everybody tell you, they got, any kind of burger, any kind of beef, all the beef, all of it, you got to get off of it. You see what I'm saying? Because what it is, now it's interesting here, because there's big-ass signs all over the South of Chick-fil-A. Now, Chick-fil-A, they have this campaign, if you ever down south, and they might have them up north where they have the cow, and the actual cow is trying to give you ways to eat chicken, but not eat the cow. So one of the signs said, now look at this, check this out. When we went to pick up the statue for Erzuli, we was riding back home with the statue the night before, I started to throw up the next day, and there was a big sign said, beef puts you to sleep, or beef makes you, beef puts you to sleep, or it makes you sleepy, or makes you sleep. Now, some people say, yeah, the sluggishness of the beef would be, but no, that's not what was going on. It was a spiritual thing. The beef puts your consciousness to sleep. You see what I'm saying? Now, think about this now. McDonald's can create a turkey burger, or the big three, McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's. It's nothing for them to create a turkey burger. They give you a fish. They give you chicken. You see what I'm saying? They could create a turkey burger. You understand what I'm saying? And make a killing, make millions. But the beef industry won't allow that, or the government won't allow that.
Right.
You understand where I'm coming from here? Now, yes, you can get turkey burgers from all things, but the big three, you see what I'm saying? They won't allow that. You see what I'm saying? Because the beef keeps the people's consciousness asleep, eating Heru's body. You see what I'm saying? So when the Vishnu Purana is saying that, the Vishnu Purana is saying in the last days man will eat the sacred beef, the sacred cow. Now you got to understand something how powerful this is. Do you know one of the resurrections, and when they dug up King Tut's tomb, there's some stuff that they got off his sarcophagus. In the hieroglyphics, there's a book called the Book of the Divine Cow. A lot of people have never seen it because it costs you $300 to get the book that is translated. In 1996, I went into right before these white boys got the internet, I went into a bookstore, and I ended up buying the book for $25. But the book costs about $300 now. It costs about that. But in that particular book, they got a section of the Divine Cow. There's a portion of, let's say, these texts that come from the Apocalypse stuff. They got, in ancient Egypt, a part of that Apocalypse era, these apocalyptic type texts. One of them is called the Book of the Divine Cow. So now the Divine Cow is not only Hathor, the Divine Cow is also the Milky Way. You see? And you remember how the Milky Way formed a perfect DNA spiral a couple of years ago. So, so the cow is key. It's essential. If we're connected to the Milky Way and all the gods and all this stuff is all coming together now, and the Milky Way is a part of it, you see what I'm saying? And we also have the prophecy of the Divine Cow and a book of the Divine Cow. What better way to keep people asleep than to feed them the cow? You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And America being number one at the forefront of all the steaks and all this type of stuff. You see what I'm saying? And the ground beef, which it takes. The ground beef is coming from, it might be 3 or 4 scraps from 3 or 4 different companies that they put the ground in one ground beef. And that ain't talking about all the hormones and all the other stuff, but the point I'm trying, and also the cows, knowing they're going to die, get depressed. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, it shuts the consciousness down. So whenever this particular entity current came through and I started throwing up, what it was is it was purging me of the cow. You see what I'm saying? People talking about the pork. No, the cow. The pork is bad enough. That's a whole other story. But the divine cow, Heru. You see what I'm saying? You see. And so it's interesting because, you know, in the Moses thing with the golden calf, that's nothing but retold versions of the scripts that came from the Book of Divine Cow, which we now have. Here's another book I want to give to people. It's a book called, I just found this about a month ago. It's a book called The Dictionary of Deities and Demons in the Bible. Now, if anybody's seen any of my early tapes, the ones I used to do in the 90s, I used to have an internet piece. No, I used to have a piece that came out of a book from the University of Michigan that a brother used to go up to Michigan and copy all this stuff, go into the libraries of the University of Michigan and copy all this stuff. And he copied an internet piece of a group of Egyptologists that showed Osiris in the Bible 13 times. And I used to go these names, Wussar, Usar, and all that. And I said, man, that would be nice if I could get a damn book, a whole book that would show all these particular deities.
Right.
And their different names in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? Because our people, now we into that Bible, so don't fool yourself. So anyway, I was blessed to find a book. It's called The Dictionary of Deities and Demons in the Bible by Karen. That's Karel. Carol, Karel. Her middle name is Van, V-A-N. Then the next name is D-E-R, Van Door. So it's separate Van. Then D-E-R is separate. And the last name is Torin, T-O-O-R-N. Karen Van Der Torin. And spell it again, K-A-R-E-L-V-A-N, then D-E-R, then T-O-O-R-N, Torin. And there's other authors. I'm just giving you the first one because it's about 4 authors. And it's in this book, it's edited, and this book has people, colleges, and contributors from around the world, and the list of contributors take up 3 pages. Or 4 pages. That's how much stuff. So let's say if you want to look up Isis, they'll say, well, go to so-and-so, the book of Numbers, and so-and-so. Her name is Rabasuna or something. They'll give you the biblical name.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So you'll know that's Isis. They have everybody in here. Horus, Aset, but they'll have stuff like Hercules. Well, Hercules and Samson is the same. I already knew that. But we also know that that's all Samson is a form of Ra-Heru Kahudi, the god of war. So they'll give you Hercules, Samson. Then they'll give you all the demon stuff, all the Beelzebub, Azazel, different. So they'll give you all of these deities in the Bible. So I wanted to put to enter that in, for the people. Okay, moving right along. What's our time?
Our time is looking real good. We're just at the top. It looks like at the top of the hour. We still have an hour and 48 minutes left to go. It's up to you. What
That's great.
You let me know what you want to do. Yes.
Okay, that's great. Now, I want to say this. Do you know, when I was doing to let you know that this stuff was all tied together, when I was doing the lecture with the top hat on in Baltimore, resurrecting those spirits and putting those spirits, you see, this is not a Bobby Hemmett deal. No, they told me what to do. You see what I'm saying? Right. They told me what to do, just like when they told me to get off the internet. You see. Which was good for us because the people panicked and started calling that number. That's the only way they can get in contact with us. And then they start selling their asses them stimulus packages. So that was a plus. But anyway, so what happened was the night that I did the actual lecture on the 16th, where I'm doing the ceremony, that same night in Birmingham, Alabama, on the 16th, 4 college girls went into a hotel. The janitor was burning incense and the hotel caught on fire. Everybody made it out. These 4 girls went into the closet because it was a motel.
Wow.
These 4 girls, now anybody can get out of a damn motel. Shit, just walk out the front door. But these 4 girls went into a closet and huddled together and burnt up in a closet. Just like so it was almost like the first one was the 4 younger girls. These were 4 older girls, but I think what it was is they wanted to get on the highway with those Haitian spirits, so that was their time. That was their time to do that. You see? Yes. Yeah, that was their time to do that. So now let's see here. Let me see here. Let me see. Okay. I also want to give another book. I want to give another book out, because I gave the Dictionary of Ancient Deities. Yes. By Patricia Turner and Charles Russell Carter. Told people to get that book. I also gave, I told you about the new book, and the new book that I found, which is actually an old book, it just is new because I just found it not too long ago. Do you have the name of that book? Or let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. It's called the same people that put out the Dictionary of Ancient Deities put out another book called The Goddess in the World. It's called Goddesses in World Mythology. a biographical dictionary, Goddess in World Mythology, a biographical dictionary by Martha Ann, that's M-A-R-T-H-A, then A-N-N, and Dorothy Myers, M-Y-E-R-S. Her last name is Imel, I-M-E-L. So Linda Ann and Dorothy Myers Imel. This is a whole book about as big as the Dictionary of Ancient Deities, but it's completely on the goddesses. So it's called The Goddesses in World Mythology. And then I want to give out a book that I got to thank this sister that wrote this book. I guess I was waiting for this blog talk to come to introduce this book. Okay, now, some people know that you can go to Botanicas. Let's say a lot of the African gods and a lot of the Caribbean gods, or a lot of the gods from the Caribbean, South America, and all of those, you can't find them in a lot of bookstores. You can't find them in a lot of these mass books where you go to, Barnes and Nobles or what have you. You have to go to Botanicas and get these little pamphlets.
Right,
well,
right.
I'm glad this is a sister. Her name is Judika Illes. That's Judika Illes. Say that again. Her name is Judika Illes. Judika Illes. And she's put out a book called The Encyclopedia of Spirits. And it is let me tell you how many pages in this thing. This is a work of art. I got it and couldn't put it down. It's 1,056 pages of these particular deities. Now she has not only does she has Egyptian, but she would have Vodun. She would have all your Palo. She would have all your South American deities like Macumba, and which would give you Pambagera. So if you was, it's like someone just said, if there were some deities and you can't find enough on them, you just go to this particular book. It's called The Encyclopedia of Spirits, the ultimate guide to the magic of fairies, genies, fairies, genies, demons, ghosts, gods, and goddesses, by Judika Illes. And Encyclopedia of Spirits is the name of this book. So what she has done, this sister, she had another one called Encyclopedia of Spells. But what she has done is she has gone through and she's taken all the stuff that's in these botanicals and she made an encyclopedia of it. And not only does she have encyclopedias, not only does she have that, she tell you what these gods want. She tell you what they require. She tell you what they like, their colors, their foods, everything. It is a monumental work, and it's 1,056 pages, the Encyclopedia of Spirits.
Wow.
So I wanted to put that down. You all right?
Thank you. Yes, yes, thank you.
You need to get this particular book. You need to get that book. Now, this is interesting here because Sade put out the album Soldier of Love. Well, most people are saying they like the title one, but they was like, well, the other stuff, but nevertheless, it went to number one. Now, it's interesting because a lot of people didn't pay attention to the poster. The first thing, because I'm riding around town and I'm seeing these pictures of her back turned, and I'm not a big Sade fan, but what happened was when I finally got up on close to see the actual picture, she's staring at the Mexican pyramids. And on the inside of it, she's dressed like the Maasai, which is saying Africa, from where we come, and the West, or where we end. You see what I'm saying? And it's ironic that the album went to number one. You see, the album went to number one. And if you look real close, when she's staring at the Mexican pyramids, there's either a hawk or an eagle flying by. So my point here is, and it came out right around the whole Haitian thing. You see what I'm saying? So my point here is that has a lot to do. It has a lot to do with stuff that's going on right now. But it's interesting, even to invoke the Mexican pyramids and to dress up as the African on the inside of the jacket. To do that, something, it must have had some power because the album did go to #1. And it's not the best album, it's not one of her best albums. But that Soldier of Love song was real strong with that military sound. It was very interesting. You know, yes.
Yes,
okay.
Powerful, yes.
All right. Now, the other thing is I had a dream in this, and it was a dream of a symbol, a round symbol with lines through it. And I knew it had to be some type of Asian symbol. When I looked the symbol up, it was called the Shao. That's S-H-A-W, I think, the Shao, S-H-I-A. I'm going to go get the dictionary. And I looked this thing up, and it had the Shao on it. Now, first of all, when I woke up, I told Lynn, I said, well, I had this dream of this symbol. And I said, I know that the symbol is in some of the books. I know that the symbol is in some of the dictionaries, some of the dictionaries of symbols. Now, there's one that you can get. It's called the Element Encyclopedia of Secret Signs and Symbols.
Yes,
Element
I have
Encyclopedia.
Yes, I have that one. That is
excellent. You can get them real cheap at Barnes & Noble. They sell them in their discount department for like $9. And so in there, it's by Adele, A-D-E-L-E. Last name is Nozedar. And it's called the Element Encyclopedia of Secret Signs and Symbols. And so I went in there and I found this symbol that I had in the dream. And they said the symbol is a symbol of something that is called the Shao. And the Shao is a symbol of a god called Shao Hazing, Shao Hussein. Now, Shao Hussein is a member of three gods of happiness. Three gods of happiness. One god he's the god of longevity. And he holds a peach in his hand, and come to find out that peach is, the symbol was a symbol ultimately of a peach, but it looks something like a rune type of a Qing symbol. But anyway, when it comes to the statue, it's a peach he holds. He's the god of longevity. There's another god is the god of happiness, and another god we looked up was a god of mammalian. We looked up the word, and the word means like reciprocity. So they call it three gods of happiness. And so it's interesting. I was in a Chinese restaurant, and I looked up on the wall, and there was the three gods of happiness up in there. And as a result of that, I found a Chinese place, and I bought 3 statues of the three gods of happiness. Then all of a sudden, what came about is after I got the three gods of happiness, there's another book I got that I read up on them called Asiatic Mythology. And in there, they appeared out of nowhere something called the 8 Immortals. And the 8 Immortals is the realm in which not only the three gods of happiness, because the last one was talking about like reciprocity. So there's a god of reciprocity, like that's reciprocity is a Maya type figure. The god of longevity, health, or even immortality, and the other one is the god of happiness, which means this particular happiness is talking about if you were enlightened. You see what I'm saying? This particular joy. Now, then the 8 Immortals showed up, which is key, which ended up leading us to that appeared after the 8 Immortals showed up. This whole old dirty bastard thing appeared because of the whole Wu-Tang thing and how they was connected with the whole Chinese mythology and stuff like that. So to read about the 8 Immortals and the three gods of happiness, you need to get a book called Myths and Legends of China. Myths and Legends of China by E.T.C. That's E.T.C. Werner. W-E-R-N-E-R. W-E-R-N-E-R. So that book is called The Myths and Legends of China. Now, there's another book called Asiatic Mythology. It's a big, thick, maybe a 500-600 page out-of-print book. It's going to cost you some money. I got it from the Strand when I was in New York. It's called the Asiatic Mythology hardback, but it's out of print. And these days they're going to charge you. But what you can do is to get this myths and legends because they give you more of the stories and stuff. But the 8 immortals is up in there. And that's the realm. The 8 immortals is the realm and also where we are right now. Not only the 3 gods of happiness, but also the 8 immortals. And the first thing they came through and said, well, remember that you and Panic was discussing about 2-3 years ago that Bruce Lee came through and said he wanted to be raised up as a god. Wanted to be raised up as a god, and all. And they were saying, well, we also was a part of the energies that broke that current through, and all, you know, and was calling for that. Right. And then shortly after that, this whole old dirty bastard thing talks about it comes through being connected with the 80 models, and now we got to resurrect him as the god, and which he started calling himself the god Osiris before actually going to the other side. He was calling himself the god Osiris. Now, right. 2 other things we need to deal with. Like I said, get under your music. You see, very key. Get under your music, very key. You see, because obviously they what they do is that's one of the things that they focus on also. You know, as far as your health. If you're separated from your music and separated from dance, your health, that's one of the keys and stuff, is to get under your music and get back into your dance. If that's possible, possible. Now, another thing that we, first of all, at this particular time, and let me start to explain this. Let me start to explain this, this particular aspect of what's going on, right quick. In 2006, right before my mother, to show you where we are and what's happening spiritually. In 2006, right before my mother passed, she passed on June the 30th. No, she passed on July 30th, 2006. 30 years before, on that same day, Bruce Lee passed. In 1973. So, she passed on June the 30th. Now, before she passed, we went down for Mother's Day because the town gave her a celebration. The town and the church and what have you, and they gave her a celebration. We had no idea that this celebration was right on time because she made the transition when she went up in the fire, her own fire, the Kundalini energy, and we talked about that in the lectures. But anyway, went down to South Carolina. So let me show you what's happening. We went down to South Carolina to visit her and go through the celebration before she made the transition on Mother's Day. Came out of South Carolina, and the next day, we got, especially me, I got sick and couldn't understand what was going on. And I didn't put this thing together until last week. And what had happened was, what I had noticed when we went down to South Carolina, the town that I grew up in, it's not really there anymore. Most of the houses are gone. It looks like it's a pale shadow of itself. It used to look like a little New York, but it would look like a miniature Mayberry. But they had everything, and it was happening. But all of a sudden, the town is wiped off the map. Just about. There's hardly no houses. I'm like, man, this doesn't even resemble the place I grew up in. So now, but the next day, I got sick. And, and had to really fight and stuff and couldn't understand what was going on. So, and I don't get sick. So whenever I get sick, I know that there's something that has happened on a current level as far as currency. So what happened was, there's a mythology in the Grail mythology and in the Journey of the Hero. Any of these books, the Journey of the Hero, the book, the Robert Joseph Campbell book, The Hero of a Thousand Faces. There's other books on the Journey of the Hero you can get in mythology. There's a book called, so as a result, there's a book called Mythology, The Journey of the Hero by David Adams Leeming. David Adams Leeming, Leeming. It's called, I think it's called Mythology, The Journey of the Hero or something like that. So anyway, in the Journey of the Hero, when a person is taking a cosmic journey, he's taking a sacred journey where you're going through this particular information. All this knowledge that you're gaining is a part of your initiation. That's why it's not good to follow anybody right now because that person that you're following could be hindering your form of your own initiation. You got to find out what your path is. You can get information from them, but you can't follow them. You see what I'm saying? So we are all on this particular lecture we're doing tonight. Any of these blog talks is a form of people's initiation. People get quickened by coming in hearing this particular information. So in the hero's journey, one thing happens. When you cross a certain bridge, the bridge disappears from behind you. So it's the old saying, you can never go home. So what happens here is, especially the ones that's in the consciousness, you say, well, I know people that, go to stay home and they rich and stuff like that. We're talking about you particular people that's in a certain amount of consciousness. If you're on a certain initiation, you can't get off the path. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can never go home. So what happens here is, whenever you go across the bridge and you completed that cycle, then what happens here is that bridge disappears from behind you. And where you are will set up an atmosphere conducive for you to still continue to grow spiritually, metaphysically. So what happened was when I went back, because what happened was that I hadn't gone back to Mullins in 10 years because my mother, before she passed, she would come up to Atlanta from South Carolina and stay 2 months, stay a couple of weeks. And she did that for 10 years, so there wasn't no need for me to go back down to Mullins. For the simple fact was, you see, because she started coming up there, so as a result, I hadn't gone there from 1996 was the last time I was there until 2006 when I went back for the celebration. And as a result, what had happened was we went into a dimension that was not there anymore. Now, I need you to pay close attention. Like I say again, do not get into the entertainment part of this. You must listen to what I'm saying. Good, you can rewind this stuff because this has a lot to do with what is going on. So when I got sick, it was because I had gone back and dwelled for a couple of hours in a dimension that's not there. Remember, all this is an illusion. It's called illusion, or it's called Maya, and it's also called glamour. We'll get into that in a few minutes. Now, so when I would dwell in that dimension for a couple of hours for my mother's celebration, and we left and got on the road to come back to Atlanta, the next day, for some reason, because I had gone into a dimension that didn't exist, it must have took all of my energy. You understand what I'm saying? My energy to go down to that particular level of people that can be there. The only people that can live there is dead people. So as one sister one time, she made the observation, he's conscious sister, she made the observation. She said, well, I went home to Chicago to my parents. She's a conscious sister. This was maybe about 10, 12 years ago. She said, I went home to Chicago for the Christmas holidays with my parents. And she said, what I had to do, and all my surroundings that weren't conscious, I had to suspend my consciousness and where I was and go back in that dead world. I literally had to die to be amongst them. That's why you don't go and try to teach them nothing. Let the dead lie with the dead. So it was the same concept of that particular town that wasn't there anymore. So what happened recently? What started in a little small town of 6,000 people, well, it's less than that now because a lot of people moved away. So let's say 4,000 people. When I went to Columbia, South Carolina, where I went to school, Benedict College, and where I used to live before I came to Atlanta, when I went back to Columbia, South Carolina, which I've been going there, I used to go every year or every 2 times a year for 15 years to do lectures because that's the biggest city in South Carolina. When I went back to Columbia last weekend and I did the lecture, got to the hotel that night, spent the night, and got back on the road and came back. When I went to Columbia, South Carolina, by that Wednesday, I started violently coming down with some type of virus, and I started getting sick again. And And so Linda reminded me, hey, you remember you went to South Carolina in '06 and the same thing happened? And it's interesting here because her mother died in '07. Right before her mother died, we went to D.C. I had a lecture in Baltimore. Linda's from D.C. Had a lecture in Baltimore. We went, went after the lecture. We stayed a couple of days in Maryland where her mother was from. And we stayed a couple of days, and later on she made a transition the next year. But after coming back in '06, we came back from D.C., we both got violently sick because that was where she was from. You see what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make here is, now what is happening? What had happened in Mullins, a little small town that had disappeared from years ago, is starting to happen in the bigger cities. Columbia being a bigger city, as a result, is starting to die. It's starting to die. That's very key because this is an Indian mythology of the triple cities starting to be destroyed. So let me explain to people what's actually going on. What's actually going on.
Yes, yes.
This is nothing but an illusion. It's called Maya. It's an illusion. And this illusion is sustained by something that is called glamour. So glamour is what the glamour is what makes this illusion, it makes this illusion function. So glamour is what the ego taps into, and it taps into, and when the ego taps into this glamour, it makes this illusionary world that we live in possible to live in based on this glamour. So what it does, it takes something that is nothing, something that is an illusion, and the glamour aspect of that particular illusion, because illusion is called Maya, the glamour aspect of that illusion, what it does, it makes things appealing to the ego that sustains and keeps you locked into this illusion based on glamour. Based on glamour. I'll read a couple of things on what this glamour is in a few seconds. But the point I'm trying to make here is this. This is what's happening. This illusion, because we live in a world, it's the same, the Matrix explained it to you when he said you've been living in a dream world. Yeah. You've been living in a dream world. Now, what happens here is because there really is no physical world, it's only basically what the brain is telling you it is, but the brain is being activated through glamour. And glamour is any kind of appealing thing that's visual, emotional, and psychological. And as a result, it makes this appear to be real. So what has happened here is, when I went back to South Carolina, I went into a world that actually is not there anymore. What is happening here is the worlds are disappearing. It's just that the glamour is still keeping this thing in an apparent state that really doesn't exist. So what I was feeling the other day with the particular glamour, I was feeling the other day, was in actuality I had gone into a zone outside of my area of comfort or my area of spiritual, because my whole house and my world is set up spiritually. So when I went back to South Carolina, that world is actually disappearing. And all it was illusionary phenomenon that I was dwelling in for a couple of hours. And as a result, my spirit had to go back down to a dead state just to exist there for a couple of hours. And as a result, that's when it caught up to me, that's when I started coming down, because I had to fight all day. I go to war with shit, to make sure that I'm healthy, but nevertheless, this is what has happened. These dimensions are changing, and they're disappearing. So what's getting ready to happen? When I first started off, I said, it takes a while for stuff to completely manifest into the physical. But if these towns, these things are disappearing, then what's going to happen, it's going to, like they say, the twinkling of an eye is going to catch up with the spirit, or with the physical world, and they say midday one day, this shit is just going to disappear. And we're on the cusp of that because the simple fact, we have the army, we have the spirits now that is gaining control because of they were able to exit the bodies in an abrupt fashion, i.e. Haiti, Katrina, Rwanda. You see what I'm saying? The tsunami. And as a result, their energies are actually destroying what they call the triple cities of the demons. Now, of the demons, the triple cities. So now, what does it all mean? The demon is nothing but the higher, is the one's own genius. So what is happening here right now is, in any relationship that you are having that is not going right with a person that you are dealing with, you are creating that relationship. So you are creating the world that you live in from inside out. So if you got something that's going on in your life that is either in a relationship, a financial, a meltdown, or anything, you are creating it from the inside out. What you have to realize is what you have to do is change your perception and create what you want from the inner realm. And just basically by seeing what you want to happen, imagining what you want to happen. Because that is the real world. This is the illusionary world, but you are actually being duped by it because you're thinking it's real with the glamour. Only thing you have to do is to go inside and say, this shit ain't real, and what I want to create for myself, I have the ability to do it. Long as I understand that the world that is so tragic for me, I'm bringing it on myself. I'm bringing it on myself. You see, if you're in a relationship and your husband is a slob, and your husband, you see what I'm saying, is an idiot and a demon, you create in yourself what you want your husband to be. So you go in your mind. If you can do this for your wife, you can do this for your girlfriend, you can do this for your friends. You say, well, I'm going to go inside. I want this person here to be this, and I will create this person on the inside of me what I want it to be on the outside of me. And guess what? Your husband, your friend, your contact, your workspace, everything will change based on you have the ability to create it.
That's right.
You get where I'm coming from here? Because this is an illusion. It's all gone now. It doesn't exist anymore. You see?
Right.
So let me give you some things of what glamour is. And so glamour is, until I get to the crux of what I'm really here for and tell you what it's all turned out to be. You're going to be blown away by this. But glamour, now glamour of physical strength. These are the things with glamour. It's a ray. It's an actual ray. It's a current, and you got to break that current and all. So I'm going to give you understand what this is about. Glamour of physical strength. The glamour of personal magnetism. The glamour of self-centeredness and personal potency. The glamour of one at the center. They're just talking about the selfish aspect of people. The glamour of selfish personal ambition. The glamour of rulership and dictation of wide control. The glamour of the Messiah complex in a field of politics. The glamour of selfish destiny of the divine right of kings and personality exacted. So these divine right of kings, my self-destiny. The glamour of destruction, the glamour of isolation and alienation and aloofness, the glamour of imposed will upon others and upon groups. Get out of them groups, because the people, those group leaders are in a state of glamour, that they even got to have you follow them. The glamour of love, the glamour of the love of being loved. I just want to be loved. That's a glamour. I just want to be loved. The glamour, you see, the glamour of popularity, the glamour of personal wisdom, the glamour of selfish responsibility, the glamour to complete and the glamour to complete an understanding which negates the right of action, the glamour of self-pity, a basic glamour that is a race. Self-pity is a glamour. The glamour of Messiah complex in the world of religion and the world of need. The glamour of fear based on undue sensitivity. The glamour of self-sacrifice. The glamour of selfishness and unselfishness. Oh, I'm going to give to the people. I'm going to give to the people. My people, that's glamour too. The glamour of self-satisfaction. The glamour of self-service. The glamour of self-service. I mean, it's some glamour of war. It just goes on and on and on. And this basically is the basic functions of psychological behavior of the people. And you are creating all of this stuff through the glamour and what you've been programmed, and basically you can go inside and you can create the world that you want, because guess what? The physical world, the world that we think it is really not here. It's just being created by an illusion, by glamour.
Yes.
You all right?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, we are with you. We are with you, Brother Bobby. You can't hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Now, let me go into, what's our time looking like?
Oh, our time is still looking good. Let me take a look here. We still have about an hour and 14 minutes to go. So,
right. Okay. Remember, go see the movie Alice in Wonderland. Because in the movie Alice in Wonderland, that's what she had to do. She had to go inside and direct the world that she needed to create for her world to go when she got back in the physical earth. You see what I'm saying? The new one, because this is there's about 4 or 5 Alice in Wonderlands. I never could get through them with the little girl. This one you could get through because it's the girl. I think her story starts when she's at 20 or 19, and she goes back to Wonderland. So it's the one that's in the movies now with Tim Burton. Go see that particular movie, because that's exactly what they're talking about. You got to go in the inner world, inside of you. Remember, heaven is within, to change the world on the outside of you. And this movie is a great example of that. So go and see that particular movie. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
That particular movie. Let's see here. Now, let me give you something else. Let me give you something else that we can deal with right now. You want to inquire for those people that still want to find love? Well, we had to go overseas and get some instructions on love magic. So we got a CD on love magic. So please inquire. Please inquire. And guess what the first thing they say on this CD?
What is
the love
it
that you're trying to get? You got to fall in love with self.
That's it.
To attract that love that you're trying to get. And if it's eluding you, it's because you are not in love with self.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to change from the inside. You see what I'm saying? We just saw a movie today that she's out of your league. And in this movie they was dropping the same thing. You got to fall in love with self in order to feel that you deserve somebody that you think is out of your league. Well, we got some love magic too. Please inquire for the love magic, because you might want to get a hold of some of that type of stuff and deal with the instructions on what they tell you to do. But the first instruction, they say you got to work on self.
That's right.
Another DVD is out. The 2 guys used to play on Nickelodeon called Good Burger. One of the guys. One of the guys is called. One of the guys is on Saturday Night Live now, and the other one appeared in a Mystery Men movie in the late '90s, and he just disappeared. I can't. What's that? The guy? I think it's Kev. It was a skinny guy.
Yes.
Right. He got a new movie out called See Dick Run. Now, what this movie is about. Remember, I said that there's an article in the Ghanaian newspaper in Ghana where this guy went and had sex with a prostitute, and then after he had sex with the prostitute, it was in the Ghanaian paper. She and didn't pay her money. She took his penis away. His dick disappeared, and so then we found books. There's some books called. There's a book called Demons of the Flesh, and in that book they talk about how over in Kenya they got these women that can snatch your penis. I think it's either called Demons of the Flesh, or it's also called Sex and the Paranormal. I think it's called Sex. That's right. It's called Sex and the Paranormal. And in that book, they talk about the penis snatchers of Kenya. Well, in this movie, that's what happened. This guy was sleeping with a whole bunch of women, and a voodoo goddess came and took his shit. And it's interesting. So they cleaned it up at the end when they said, you know, he got knocked out by this woman, and while he was out, this whole dream occurred that he didn't have a penis. But so they'll give you the knowledge of something, and they'll put you back to sleep. But nevertheless, they're just trying to. It's just bearing witness that we did have that type of magic and stuff like that. That's not necessary these days, girls. So, you know, on that particular level. All right. All right. So now we're going to get, let me see we're going to get to the crux of, it's interesting here. You know, there's an angel called Barakiel. There's an angel called Barakiel.
Barakiel.
Barakiel. So it's amazing that he won. It's amazing that he won Barack Obama because there's an angel called Barakiel, and Barakiel, and you get the book. There's a definitive text. It's called the Dictionary of Angels, including Fallen Angels, by Gustav Davison, Gustav Davison. The Dictionary of Angels, including Fallen Angels. And in there, they'll read on Barakiel. And they say Barakiel, one of the things he does, he's a god of lightning, like the whole Shango thing we talked about. But they also say what he does, one of his things is to take risk and chances that most people won't take. So, you know, the whole healthcare thing and all this type of stuff here. So it's just interesting here. I'm just adding that on in there, the whole Barakiel thing. Okay. Now we come, well, a few other things. Let's deal with this one last part. Then we're going to go what this all came to be and what they're hiding from you. They put out a whole movie this summer to keep you blind from the fact of something. So, but let me go into the other part, and that is this. Last Easter, well, the Easter last year, 2009, my Uncle Maceo died. Very powerful spirit. Very powerful spirit. This year, Linda, my queen, has a friend they call her Chickadee. Anyway, this woman made the transition. So about 2 weeks, the day that the Alice in Wonderland, about 3 weeks ago, when Alice in Wonderland came out, we rode out to go to the movies where we stopped at a Marshall's because she had to get these two gnomes. Gnomes are elf-like figures. And then we found an actual little couch that is made out of tree branches, and we went home and put an entire fairy kingdom together, and we worked on that fairy kingdom for about a week with different ones. We found 2 black fairies, and remember I told you that that they have that the sister what's her name Rosalind Jeffries, the wife of Leonard Jeffries. Started going to Africa in the 1950s, I think late 1950s, early 1960s. And she went to Africa for almost 20-something years. And then she said she watched some of my videos and went back to Africa in 1994 and started telling them about metaphysical thing. And the Africans looked at her and pointed to the trees, and there was little people living in the trees.
Yes, I remember that.
I've been coming here for over 20-something years. No, over 30 years. So I've been coming for here over 30 years, and you never showed me shit. They say you never asked. It was also to say, you know, we don't like to scare you all if you don't ask those things. But there was little fairy people in the trees. And recently, I told you about a sister named Aviva went over, and little fairies. She moved back to Africa, and the fairies came in her room and told her to go back to America.
Wow.
And another sister that used to have a blog talk radio out in L.A., she went and she saw the fairy people, and they told her about a book, and they called the Kawi. The Kawi. So this Chickadee woman died, and so what happened was, so what happened when you look at this Arabello, when you get this information on Arabello, the one that you get rich quick, he looks like a fairy. But but when Chickadee died, Linda said I believe she was a fairy. And then we figured it out that it was her that came through and had us build that kingdom The fairy, so when she died on Easter, she could come through. So that fairy energy is here. That fairy energy is here, and that is nothing but the ancestral energy. The ancestral energy. So I want you to get a book and start studying the fairy. And they are the gods of nature. You want, huh? Yeah, well, I want to get a book. There's a book called The Enchantment of the Fairy Realm. The Enchantment of the Fairy Realm by Ted Andrews. Ted Andrews is another guy that did the book Animal Wise and Animal Speaks, and he just made the transition. It's called Enchantment of the Fairy Realm, and it says Communicate with the Nature Spirits in Elemental by Ted Andrews, Enchantment of the Fairy Realm. Now, there's a movie that you can find if you can get on Turner Classic Movies that came out in 1946, and it's dropping on the fairy realm, and it's called The Three Wise Fools. The Three Wise Fools. If you can't get it, just inquire when you call the number, and we'll see what the deal is. It's a black and white movie, but they're dealing with the fairy realm.
Okay,
and the innocence. Okay. Innocence. You got to become innocent like a child.
Yes.
And that's to tap in. Now, and also now, the ultimate fairy movie is also called The Spiderwick Chronicles. The Spiderwick Chronicles. They ain't yet brought that on cable. They just went past cable. It came out in 2008, The Spiderwick Chronicles. But what we're trying to tell people is the fairies are real, and you can see them if you want to, but it's about innocence. It's about innocence. Now, let me get into what all of this Haitian stuff has come into being, come to be. All right. I said after the 49 days, those Haitian spirits came through and they blew up a $3,000 500-watt receiver, a 500-watt receiver. This receiver was so bad that I could put on Billie Holiday and she would actually be in the damn room singing the song. And that is the reason why they don't let this kind of stuff come. Remember, brothers used to go in the army back in the 70s. Brothers used to go in the army to get their receivers, because what it is they don't let the real receivers come in this country. The real receivers are amplifiers. They'll tell you it's 100 watts. They're only 30 watts. They only allow 30 watts. They tell the people in America, you got a 100-watt amp, that's only 30 watts. You got to go outside of the country to get the real deal and stuff like that. So, and it's because they're trying to stop the inner ear melanin. The inner ear melanin. So now, when these spirits came in and blew up, that they was trying to send a message. First of all, what happened was, during the 49 days, after the 49 days, every Monday morning or Tuesday morning, they would have a loud explosion here in Atlanta. A loud explosion. Now, I go and turn on the news. I say, now, if we don't hear nothing about this explosion, and car alarms go off and stuff, I mean, it was huge. I said, if we don't hear nothing about this explosion, we'll know that that's coming from the spirit world, and they're just going to sweep it under the rug because they can't explain it. And one day we caught one of the newscasters saying there was an explosion this morning, but didn't hear no more about it or something, and they must have stopped her. And this went on for a couple of weeks. This was right at the time of the 49 days, after the 49 days was over and all. So that's the time they came in, had an explosion one morning. About 12 o'clock, they blew up my system. Now, let me go into what all this is about. Since those particular souls have morphed into gods, energies, frequencies, let me explain this on what's going on. And we get ready to break an age-old mystery that they don't want you to know. This summer, they came out with a movie called The Fourth Kind. A movie called The Fourth Kind. It's supposed to be about experiments that actually happened in Alaska during the 2000s, where people were abducted and went crazy and killed themselves, and started hearing this alien language that they had to call him a black man who was an expert on Sumerian languages. Now, this is a true story that they put out. It was a true story. You can get the DVD now. It's called The Fourth Time with Mila Jovovich. You know, she's played in all the Resident Evil movies and stuff, in The Fifth Element. Anyway, this is a real movie on real experiences that happened in early 2000s, like 2000. And these people would hear these things, they'd get abducted, they would go crazy, they'd kill themselves. But they was hearing this language, and they called a black man who had studied Sumerian languages when he would translate what was coming out of these people's mouth. They never got to the bottom of it, but it was these abductions. This is what the deal here is. Now, this is the key, because I've had arguments with people on this. Those abductions are done by the American government or the world government or the people who are the conspirators that rule the world. And those abductions, because real aliens or real spirituals or spirit beings don't have to abduct nobody. And why is it that all the abductees are mostly white? See, they so racist until they can't even try to say, well, we need to put some black people up in here, pay some black people. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
To make this thing. Because they already know. All these black people, we the original people on earth. All these black people walking around, you ain't heard no black people being abducted. And if they are, they're under some government experiment. So these are government experiments that was taken out by the government. They even go as far as put on the spaceship, the spacesuits. We saw that in the movie Fire in the Sky. Now, why would they go through this painstaking thing? So they had all these abduction things that they did, but this movie came out, and they literally showed you that this thing could be true. But what they didn't tell you, it was the government was literally going into Alaska and abducting these people and giving them this Sumerian language. Because, see, all the other abductions, you go, well, where are they from? So they'll give you this Sumerian language and stuff. This was the government doing this. Now, this is the key. This is all put together for one reason, to take it off of who the true aliens are. And I'm getting ready to break this great mystery, and we're going to put this to bed, but it's going to be a revelation for us. It's going to be a revelation for us from now on. We're getting ready to solve the extraterrestrial problem tonight. I argued that you can go out in the street, and if you know what to look at, you can see the spaceships. But I argue that they're not physical. They look like pulsating little orange greens and different aspects. They look like pulsating lights. That is what the true spaceships are. And I told you we got to document it when I was up in Brooklyn at the Slave Theater, and I told the people that the spaceship was going to appear. And this was early in my career. If E.T. didn't show up, I wouldn't be lecturing today, because them niggas from New York, I never heard the end of it. They never wrote rap songs about my ass if E.T. didn't show up. But it did show up right over the Slave Theater, and we got the people in Harlem on the tape, on the actual tape. We even got the people in Harlem bearing witness the second night in Harlem, bearing witness that the Sister Burt had put on, bearing witness that those ships did appear. Now, this is the key. Those ships are not physical. They are spiritual. They are spiritual, but you have to know exactly what they are. There was a pole shift with the Haitian thing. There's a pole shift. But the pole shift just is nothing but the Earth's Kundalini. Just as there's a pole shift that is the Earth's Kundalini, there's a pole shift in us, a Kundalini shift in us. Is a Kundalini shift in us. Now, then, what are the UFOs? When the pole shift happened, there was a resurrection of the Haitian spirits, and they had a conversion of those spirits with the God spirits. That happened with that particular thing. You can go online and see the lecture where we did that ceremony with the God spirits. What the UFOs are is none other than the chakras in your body. Now try to understand this. Whenever you die, or whenever most of the people die, they're unenlightened. So their chakras don't shine because of the simple fact they haven't been enlightened on earth. When you get to a certain level of enlightenment, you radiate and you pulsate. As a matter of fact, I'll guarantee you this right now, if you could lay down real quiet, some of the people that's been in this for a minute, and you could hear a rotation in your chest.
Oh,
you will
yeah.
think you'll first get scared and think it's palpitation. You go to the hospital, they won't be able to find nothing.
Yes.
You'll hear this rotation in your chest. These are the actual chakra system. Now, let's say a person as myself that has given up career and given up everything to know the universe and to know everything that I can finally know, run after this particular knowledge, and became enlightened in my lifetime. Some bodhisattva or somebody who went through certain things and became enlightened. When we die, you can go outside and see a pulsating chakra. The chakra systems in our body are none other than those spaceships out there. So whenever you see, so they got to tell you about the physical spaceships that they've been trying to put past a man-made UFOs from 1947 up until now, Area 51, to camouflage the aspect and to give you a distraction of the real spaceships. So whenever you see the real spaceships, they are pulsating chakras of enlightened beings who have made the transition, and they were enlightened at a certain level until those chakras that pulsate in the body pulsate in the atmosphere, in the universe. You see what I'm saying? So the Ascended Masters are nothing but the chakras that they call UFOs. Let's put it this way. The UFOs that the people see strange lights in the skies is nothing but the pulsating chakras of Ascended Masters. Now, I'm going to read something to you.
Okay.
Right quick. You got Aleister Crowley, the great occultist, died in 1947. Before he died, a guy in his 20s sat under his feet and became the head of the OTO, and later on was excommunicated from the OTO because he basically took, OTO is actually Crowley's system, and basically he started writing a series of books in the 1970s. The first book from the 1970s is called Magical Revival, and he wrote a series of books. He wrote 9 books from 1970 to 2003. First book is called The Magical Revival. Last book is Ninth Arch. He wrote 9 books, and they excommunicated him. He is the persona non grata of the occult world, but he's the greatest occultist of modern times. His name is Kenneth Grant, and the reason why they ostracized him because he dare say that all this shit was black and all this shit was African. Basically. The same excommunication they did and shutdown of Gerald Massey from 1907, and this guy was a Masseyite, and he said the entire cult world and all of this stuff goes back to black, or goes back to African, or goes back to the indigenous people around the world, not the continent of Africa, just so happened to be the original people being black. Even your original Aryans were black. You know, the white Aryan is only a 1930s invention. But I want to read something to you. Of what he's trying to explain about the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is associated with changing colors. The Grail is a shallow disc or a saucer that is significant. That type of the goddess is the disc. The whirling wheel that spins when the Akashic current, which is the chakra, is a mauve zone, is magically activated. The red, orange, and scarlet colors are predominantly, now let me get this right. I want you to say, he's stating something here that is unbelievable. The red, orange, and scarlet colors predominant in UFO sightings. And in Babylon, the Scarlet Woman is the goddess where all stuff is given, all power is given. And it says, some initiates like Michael Bertio, Michael Bertio, he wrote the book, the Vodun Gnostic Workbook, sees the UFO phenomenon as an expression, as a basic chakra. The phenomenal space goddess called Aditi is a dynamic form of what is called Hadit. Now, the Hadit point in Crowley's mythology is the black dot. Hadit, it says Nut, and then they say Hadit is the manifestation of Nut. So Nut is the great mother. The winged disc, the black dot Hadit is her manifestation. The UFOs, this is what it says. The UFOs sometimes comes from the sky. The Grail is also said to come from the sky. It's the cup that bears the blood of Christ. The cup that bears the blood of Christ is the pineal gland, the ajna chakra. So the Grail is called a cup that bears the blood of Christ, i.e. melanin, which is the pineal gland, which is called the ajna chakra. And so the Grail comes from the sky. Sometime the Grail cycle knew that the holy vessel appeared in 5 major shapes, 3 of which is a chalice, a stone, and an altar. And they go in, so they're talking about the Grail, and they said that appears in the sky is nothing but your basic chakra. Now, how much time we got? Because I want to complete this.
All right. Let's take a look here, Brother Bobby. I think we still got 50 minutes. 50 minutes to go.
Let me end this up so we can go to a question and answer. I want to end this up right now. Because as a result of those particular... Now, remember I said if illuminated being, a person who gets illuminated, if he was to leave the physical body, his chakras would shine. The 7 chakras, the 7 orishas. There's 7 holy orishas, which is the 7 stars of the Pleiades. So, the Pleiades, the 7 orishas. And I said, if I was to leave, my ship would shine, any ascended master. Well, we just put all those hundreds of souls, 120,000 souls and counting, and even more with Katrina, we just put them with the gods, and the gods merged with them and marved with them. It's called the Marv Zone. And they marved with them, and as a result, those basic chakras are shining, and that is your extraterrestrial army. Now it says on February 19th, the great God, 3rd chapter of the Book of Law, the God Ra-Heru Kahudi would rise from the skies at the fall of the great equinox. Harmachis would rise, which Harmachis is the great Sphinx, would rise and bring fresh fever from the skies. Those are the illuminated chakras of the great turn, because we had massive death that's now been put to the gods and illuminated the gods, and they've all morphed as one. Okay, last piece of this, and we can go into the question and answer. All right. In India, we got in India, we have the last incarnation of Kalki and Vishnu. And the Vishnu has something called the Shudarsha chakra. You heard me talk about this in my lectures. The Shudarsha chakra is called the Shudarsha. Shudarsha, beautiful bee. The name of Vishnu's weapon, a discus, lives in the sky, has the form of a wheel. By the rotation, comes back to Vishnu's hand. It is a very sharp edge which can slice off the head of demons as big as mountains, but also sprays fire sparks, blast the beams of lightning, that so it can burn down cities. Now hold on now, because I'm going to show you what it is. Burn down cities, which has the arms of an elephant trunk. Vishnu's arms are respectively Vishnu aims respectively at the enemy's armies and fells the demons in battle over the thousands and throws cutting, burning at the same time. So it's called the Sudarsha chakra. Now, what it does, it burns down the triple cities. Remember I said I just came back from Columbia, South Carolina? And it's not there anymore, although the people are there. It's just a little college town hanging on, but Mullen, South Carolina is not there. That is a form of God's chakras, the chakras of enlightened beings burning down the cities. It's called Shiva destroys the triple cities of the demons. The demons is nothing but another word for the asuras, humans. We create these illusionary cities called Maya that we live in, and they're called the triple cities of illusion, but the chakras are what's burning them down. The Golden Compass, the movie talks about everybody has a demon. That demon is the Damien, which is melanin, which is called Damionic, the good daemon, which is melanin, which you get the word daemon, amon, hidden substance. But those Damians are nothing but the chakra systems inside of us. Now, remember, we got 160 chakras. We got 7 major chakras. Most of these active here are dealing with the third eye chakras, which is the Sudarsha chakra. And then you got the Goetia, which is the demons, but those, they have seals, and you ever look at the Goetia, which is supposed to be the demons of Solomon, that bind these demons in his signet ring. But they are seals, and those seals are nothing but chakras. Now, so the angels, which were the angelic archangel hosts, and the Damians, demons, that's nothing but the souls of the Asuras, which is the humans, i.e. Haitians, unite in Sudarsha. So that when the angels and the demons, remember the angels and demon movies that's coming out, that came out? Yes. That's actually talking about the archangel energy and the Damionic energy, which is just talking about the hidden chakras inside of the physical body. And the angels and demons, when they unite, i.e. Haiti, and those souls, tsunami, what have you, Katrina, and those particular souls that are passed on, when they unite, then they unite in what is called Sudarsha. That's the Sudarsha chakra. The Sudarsha chakra is also called Merkaba. Merkaba is Ezekiel's wheel. The Sri Yantra, the ultimate symbol of the Yantra, the ultimate symbol of the goddess, is the Sudarsha chakra. The Sudarsha chakra destroys the triple cities. The Mayan calendar, the 2012 Mayan calendar, is the calendar of a Sudarsha chakra that disappears the cities, that destroys the cities, i.e. Columbia, South Carolina, Mullins, South Carolina. The cities are destroyed when Shiva dances. He dances on top of a dwarf of ignorance. But if you ever see the dance in Shiva, which is called the Shiva Nataraja, and when you see that dance in Shiva, he's dancing, not only there's a serpent around him, but he's dancing in a circle. There's a circle and a disc he's dancing in. That's the Sudarsha chakra. And Shiva destroys the triple cities of the demons. So, what is happening here, the basic chakra systems, is nothing but the chakra systems of the beings, and those are your UFOs. Those are your UFOs, but they come together when the gods and the titans merge, Clash of the Titans. But they merge, in the Great War, they merge and come together, and they have a truce. Remember, they granted him a truce, but they had a truce between the Orishas and the humans back in 2007. We talk about that in the lectures. Nevertheless, everything now is one, and now these particular spirits are now coming together. You want to get a basic chakra book? Get the book, you get a book called The Book of Chakras, Discover the Hidden Forces Within You, by Ambika Walters, AMBIKAWAUTERS. The Book of the Chakras. Another book is called The Wheel of Life. It might be changed to a new book, but The Wheels of Life by Anodea Judith. ANODEA Judith. JUDITH. So this particular thing, the extraterrestrials are here. They are now being empowered. The whole angel and all of that type of stuff. But what you don't realize is it's going on inside of you. Your extraterrestrials is your 7 major chakras and your 160 chakras all together. And this is what is going down. Let's go to some question and answers.
All right, all right. Listen
so that Mayan calendar?
Yes.
Right. Mayan calendar, that's the chakra. You see that round Mayan calendar? That's the end chakra. You had a earthquake in Haiti. on the 12th of January. You had an aftershock on the 20th of January. 2012.
That's right.
20 damn 12.
That's right. That's
This
right.
shit is happening now, which I've been telling people for years.
Wow.
So now,
Yes.
so let's go into a question and answer. But before we do that, let's put this one thing up again to get the stimulus package and get the other items I have talked about tonight, as well as the videos, the CDs, the picture package. You all really need to get up on that one and put those pictures in your house. Call that number 678-358-1055. 678-358-1055. Let's go to a question and answer.
All right. Listen up, everyone. I do want to remind you why I have your attention here really quick. We're going to go to question and answer. I'll put the number up for Brother Bobby Hemmons for the picture package, DVD, CD, 678-358-1055. For those of you who are also trying to get the herb pack from Brother Panic, make sure you email him at panicpack, so P-A-C-K, at hotmail.com, and get you that panic pack to open up the pineal gland. Lots of information that Brother Bobby is dropping. Make sure we have 40 minutes here left to go in the forum. Brother Bobby, definitely would love to have you come back to do another part to this. We're going to have Brother Panic follow us up on Friday night to continue. We'll close out with that. Now, if you're on the phone line, please press 1 if you have a question. Make sure your computer speakers are off, and we're going to go to this. Make your questions quick so we can get to it. All right, calling in on line number 39, calling in from area code 813. You're live in a remix. Please tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
This is Ramses from Tampa, Florida.
All right, Robbie, you got a question for Brother Bobby?
Yes, I totally agree with what he was saying about the UFO thing. I've done some research on the whole thing.
Okay, brother, you got a question. We got about 40 minutes. Come with your question so we can try to get to everybody.
I have a question. I have a question on what does he think about the teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York? What's his outlook?
Dr. York, he taught people that normally wouldn't get access to that particular information. He did do that. You see, C. Freeman L. say, and people are in certain organizations and stuff is because they're supposed to be in those particular organizations. And he did his particular job, and as a result of him doing his job, he left. Not in a spaceship, but he just basically left so that the people could get on with being the gods. And he as much as told people this in 1999 in a conversation at the Omni Hotel. He says, time for you all to become gods. So basically that's that. You know, that's that. But as far as him going to the planet Ritz, no, he didn't do that. He's in a maximum security prison. And you know the rest of that, so. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go to the next caller calling in from on line number 443. That was me. Calling in on line area code 443. You're live in the remix. All right. They don't have anything to say. We'll go to the next caller. Calling in on area code 337. You're live in the remix. Yes, hello.
Hey, peace, Brother Bobby, Ms. Blue. Can't even take time to express my appreciation to you guys. I'm in South Louisiana, approximately 2.5 hours from New Orleans. And, Brother Bobby, you put me on the path, and, thank you for that. My question is, I just want to know, with the powers that be, with duality in mind, how do you think the powers that be are going to manipulate their technologies to, as far as UFOs and things, because with my research, I'm aware that, they have some sort of access to these technologies to manipulate us as the people, to get us, caught up in the whole media and everything else pushes us towards. How do you think they're going to use that against us, or what is your take on that, brother?
Brother Bobby? Let me make sure Brother Bobby is still with us. Hold on.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Can
we
you hear
can
me?
hear you now. We can hear you now, Brother Bobby.
Okay, this is what's going on. The only thing that they're caught up in is this. For the mere fact that you are focusing on them, they have already won the war. You're
Right.
supposed to be about your agenda and what you're getting into, and you worried about some damn people that are weak. They don't have no fucking technology but some old round airplanes. They don't have no
We give it to
UFO.
'em.
They got some round airplanes. They've been abducting people and shitting people for the last 60-something years. They don't have no technology. We give them more power than they have, and the power that they have is you so busy looking for their agenda on what they're going to do, and you ain't, and that's why I have to come on and explain what our agenda is. You're not tapped in because they've given us an agenda of fear. Fuck dealing with them in that fear of what they're going to do, because you never know what they're going to do, but then again, on the other hand, you are the gods. What is your agenda? So what they do here is they take us out of our agenda by making you focus on fear, on what they're going to do next. Who gives a fuck? Whatever they do, they've already done it to us, and we didn't even know about it. The point I'm trying to make here is we have an agenda. The agenda that we're talking about tonight, that's our agenda. Damn them and what they're going to do. If you focus on that, just like they say, when I said it first, I say you create. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
I say
Yes,
you create the world around you. Well, that's what you do.
Right.
They give you all of this fear, and you create the world around you, because now you looking next for what the fuck they going to do. And they ain't going to do shit. They waiting on us. From now on,
Right.
y'all need to get out all that conspiracy shit. They don't have no power. But the problem here is that you all are mistaking that for knowledge. What the government going to do? Fuck the government. This is what the gods are doing. We are gods now. The shit done shifted. We done gone to a whole nother level. We still worrying about them motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? And that's when we give them the power, because we create their existence and their stability to still reign through our fears. You see what I'm saying? So that shouldn't even be that shouldn't even enter into our discussion no more about a fucking government and what the hell they gonna do. Like the guy that wrote the Voodoo Gnostic workbook say, they have their job and they got their work and we got ours. Now you gotta find out what our work is, and damn that old shit. I don't give a fuck what they do, because whatever they do, it can't stop this. Because this world is going on. And we just talked about how this was an illusionary world, so who gives a damn? Even if they kill 1 million of us, they're not killing us, they're freeing us. So, but the point about it is we got to tap into the energy on what we are doing. And damn the fucking government. Don't ask me no more motherfucking questions about no fucking bullshit-ass government this week that we create based on our fears. We're talking, and I'm not talking to you personally, brother. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going off on you. What I'm trying to say here is at this particular time, we are rising. They don't have no power over us, only the power that we give them by creating their rule over us from the inside out. We create that shit. That's what we're talking about. We got to get rid of this illusion, this glamour. If anybody want to see what's going on, there's a book called, it's called The Revelation of St. John, The Path to the Soul Initiation. And in that book, it's called Revelation of St. John, Path to the Soul Initiation, by Zachary F. Lansdowne, Lansodowne, Lansodowne, Lansdowne, Zachary F. Lansdowne, The Revelation of St. John. And in there they go into the chapter of the Apocalypse dealing with glamour and Maya, illusion. Glamour. And that's what it is. So that's what we got to get past, is our own idiosyncrasies, to see the gods in us. You see?
Yes.
So I'm not going off on you, brother. I'm just trying to say they don't have no power. And this is, and now we're talking about the return of the gods. Damn what they gonna do. They can't do shit.
Right.
Only thing they could do was to give us a Barack Obama. You see what I'm saying? So we can focus on him not giving us nothing, because that ain't his job to give us nothing. His job was to herald the coming of the rise of the gods, and he did that on damn Inauguration Day. But the rest of this stuff here is, damn the government, they don't have no power. We're talking about a whole other realm here, and they don't even belong to it, don't even know what's going on, and can't do shit about it. You see?
Yes.
So give me some questions.
The next call. All right. Going to the next caller calling in from 402. You are live in the remix.
Hello?
402? Yes,
Yes.
hello.
Hello, Miss Blue. Hello, Brother Bobby. How are you doing?
How you doing?
I remember you did a reading for me in Omaha, Nebraska, in December.
Yeah.
Do you remember me? My name is Adema.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question about what you had talked about going back to South Carolina,
Right.
about back home. Well, recently, I have been in the States for 18 years. I was in Nigeria. And I have this overwhelming fear of going back to Nigeria. And I also had the stimulus package. And after doing the stimulus package, all these things, wonderful things have been happening, especially the boyfriend that I went out with in high school contacted me, and I hadn't heard from him in 20 years, and we're about to be engaged and married. And he's Yoruba, and his name is Babajide. And that's just, yeah. And I haven't, ever since I've been in the States, I've not had any, like, real relationship until after I left Nigeria. And I always question why I came, and I've gone through so many stages in my life and, I guess, initiations to the point where I'm so much different now than when I left. So that was the one question I had about going back. And, I mean, I have this feeling that, not that I'll
you
get...
still haven't phrased the question. What is the question? What's the final question? What's the question you want me to answer for you?
If I go
is it okay to go back?
Yeah.
The holy ground is where you stand. As long as you know that you are the God within, you can go around the planet. Because it's not the outside. That's an illusion. It's inside. So, yeah, you're able to do all of that now because you're not dependent on destinations and geographical locations to set your patterns for you or to set your reality for you. Now you can go back because you're dealing with the inner self. You got illuminated chakra, so you can go to fucking Timbuktu or you can go to damn China. You see, holy ground is where you stand because the temple is within. So it's pretty, you can do what you want to do now. Long as you realize that geographical locations does not dictate your reality. Your reality is coming from inside, and this is what you make it.
Okay, so if I go there, I won't, like, feel ill or anything like that, like you had mentioned.
Well,
even before
your feelings and everything has to do with you on the inside. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right,
you see what I'm saying?
Right.
It has to do with on the inside. And that's whether you're in Alabama or New York City. It's all the same now. The earth realm, you see what I'm saying, is an illusion, and it's disappearing as we talk.
Right.
So right now we're talking about sustaining yourself from the inside. So it doesn't matter. You can go back.
Okay.
You know, what have you, as long as you the goddess is going back.
Right. Yeah, I just wanted to... Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
All right. We're going to go to the next caller calling in from area code 234. You're live in the remix. Please tell us who you are.
Hi. This is Keisha from Akron, Ohio. Universal Diary in the chat room. I have a question. I'm an artist, and I was wondering what you would suggest just for the inner world and trying to, like, channel that energy.
Well, if you're an artist, what you want to do is, it's a good question you ask, because if you're an artist, what you want to do is now to try to focus on bringing that spiritual world to fruition. So you want to go on the internet and look up any kind of thing you can pull down on occult art. Either get any. Right now, what's real good is to try to document the fairy kingdom. So you want to get some books on the fairies. You want to get some things, and you want to study this type of stuff. But most of the fairy stuff now is mostly European, which is nothing wrong with that, because you supposed to document what culture you come from, and they just so happen. So I'm not mad at them for doing that, but my point here is you can do certain things now with the fairy kingdom and stuff like that. And that's a new thing. There's two tarot decks. One is a new one that just came out, so I'm gonna give you the new one that just came out. And I want you to get that tarot deck, and I want you to study the artwork of the particular person. This tarot deck was done by the guy that did the movie. He was the artist that conceptualized the movie. What's Dark Crystal? The Dark Crystal. It came out in 1980 or 81.
Yeah.
So you want to get it's called the Heart of Fairy Oracle. You want to get the Heart of Fairy Oracle by Brian and Wendy Fraud, F-R-O-U-D. Brian and Wendy Fraud. I want you to get that fairy article, and I want you to study the artwork of those tarot cards in there, and to try to see a surrealistic kingdom, and I want you to focus on tapping into your own world and trying to bring that to the art canvas.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So you want to get into more mystical type things. Now, do not, there are no rules to what you draw. Just have confidence on what comes out from the inner self and put that on the canvas. But I just want to give you a variation or a diagram to go by just to see the kind of stuff that these white folks is into. And we got to get up into. You see,
so you're saying The Heart of Fairy Oracle by Brian.
But still, you might want to get this book anyway. It's called you might want to get it anyway. I'm talking about just the people out there, because it's a fairy article. So since the oracle now, the fairy world is back, I'm telling the people that you can, even the ones that's not artists, just to get this, just to see. It's called The Heart of Fairy Oracle. The Heart of Fairy Oracle. They put out one earlier. Called the Fairy Oracle. The Fairies Oracle, but the one you want to get now is the new one that just came out. And just to look at those beautiful things, the beautiful. They got one sister up in there too, up in the new one and stuff. One of these sisters up in there. But I want you to get that and just to see that surrealistic world, and then start tapping into that, because that's the kind of artwork that's going to bring some of this stuff through. But I implore all of you to get in. Don't worry about, what color the people are. They supposed to do that. You ain't doing shit. So if they put together an article, they supposed to have certain people in their particular cultures look at a certain way. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But but if you want to communicate with the fairies, that is a good one to also get to for anybody that want to do that, because right now the fairies are nothing but just forms of our ancestors. You see what I'm saying? So any kind of occult art, not just the fairy, but cosmic art, anything you can get with. Chakra art. Get you the chakra book I told you. There's a lot of art in that chakra book. The chakra book called The Book of Chakras, Discovery of the Hidden Forces Within You by Ambika Waters. AMBIKAWAUTERS. Get that. Start doing some chakra artwork. Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Take pictures of the gods and the goddesses. Also, anything.
Right. Yes, we're going to continue on. Calling in from area code 209, you are live in the remix. Please tell us who you are.
Hey, how you doing? This is David Morris. I'm calling you guys from California. How you doing? The remix family, Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic. I gave you a call here. I'm originally from Peoria, Illinois. I've been living out here for 17 years. And last year, make it real quick, I want to know if this is spiritual or just this modern medical science that helped me out. Last year, I got sick around February. I had 2 aneurysms, bilateral scleral aneurysm, my right and left leg. I survived it, obviously. I was rushed to Stanford, and a couple people in my family have had cerebral aneurysms and died. A couple, like 4 or 5 people, 2 people that died. No one's ever had them in their legs. It was really a shocking. I think I survived for like 2 weeks with them blowing up on my legs because I didn't go to the doctor like most black people. I tried to tough it out at home, and I just want to know what would make a person that they told me at Stanford it was amazing that I survived it. You know what I'm saying? I had a couple blood transfusions. My legs were just blown out, man. They
Well, are you? How long are you conscious? How long have you been conscious?
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I started getting more conscious right after the surgery. I was right before my wife said, because my wife's Caucasian too, and I used to be a street vice lord, and I was into the 5% thing and got into the Nation of Islam.
But nevertheless, you had some forms of consciousness throughout your life. And what has happened here is the return of the great old ones. You survived for the simple fact that there was always been a spiritual world around you. If you go see the movie, if you go see the movie Clash of the Titans, he always had this guy, this woman that was around Perseus as he went through his journey. There's spirits that's always around certain people. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been awakened in this lifetime. You see what I'm saying? So as a result, that's what happened. Basically, yes, most definitely it was spiritual. Me, I woke up and actually felt people working on my body. Maybe I hurt myself. You see what I'm saying? That day, and it didn't know it, and it was going to get sore or whatever. Or maybe it was some oncoming disease or something, and it worked on my body and stuff like that. No, and different aspects like that. You see what I'm saying? So yes, the way I threw up that other day, if I was a regular human and hadn't transcended to the God form, I would have died. Because you know what I mean? Of this particular energy that was coming through. So yes, most definitely that was your. Not only was it the spirits around you, but it was your own soul, according to what your soul is.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
It got real stronger afterwards. I must give credit to the Sons of Light because I started listening to certain music when I was at home in bed, and I started listening to old music on YouTube and pulled up Dial My Heart. Then I started finding out they were the Sons of Light. Then I started following them to Gambia. Then I started learning about what is the Sons of Light, what is the Yamanese. Then it took me to Dr. York. Then it took me to you. Then next thing you know, I was like, hold on, man, I'm 36 years old.
Right, basically you just following a certain path that was available. But it was your soul, you see what I'm saying, that was actually doing it because it was at that particular at that particular time. Don't even worry about the European. You married to the European. I found out one thing. It's just like when Minnie Riperton came through. She said, I married this guy, Richard Rudolph, because he could open doors for me. So certain things put certain people in your path to do something. So that had nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Certain things, you are with who you're supposed to be with. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So don't look at that as an indication of you not being conscious of what have you. You see what I'm saying? Certain things down here work themselves out. You see what I'm saying? But yes, if you weren't the soul that incarnated down there to have this experience, you would have been out of here. So it was definitely that. Yes.
All right.
Well,
we're going to continue on here. Let's get to the next caller. Calling in, it looks like on, wow, so many of you guys. Let's see. Calling in from area code 347. You are live in the remix.
Hello?
Yes, greetings.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Simone. How you doing, Bobby and Miss Blue?
How you doing?
How are you?
Yes, I'm Queen of Swords, Facebook also. I wanted to know, I noticed that lately I have a lot of energy. I can't sleep, and even when I do sleep for 2 or 3 hours, I still have a lot of energy. I noticed that's been going on lately. It's like I could sleep for 3 hours and still have a lot of energy.
Right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's Kundalini energy. Okay. Kundalini energy keep you up. Mine was so bad recently. Yeah. I just started going back to sleep. But I still don't go to sleep till 3 o'clock, sometimes 4. But it had gotten so bad that I wasn't going till I had to take 3 sips of liquor and then down that shit with some Budweiser or some shit, just so I can go to sleep. That's how powerful the energy was. You see what I'm saying? But that's Kundalini energy. That's Kundalini energy. A lot of people have said that when they ordered the purple disc from the stimulus package, that they had they had a whole lot of energy and the power. What you don't realize is that's actually Kundalini energy that they're experiencing with the purple disc. And it does the same thing. But even without the purple disc, that is none other than the Kundalini energy. And there's a book out you need to get on that purple disc. And the people that don't, you're going to have, the purple disc comes with the stimulus package. People don't have it, but the people who do have it, to get further information on the disc that you're wearing around you, you want to get a book called Tachyon Energy. Tachyon Energy, Tachyon, Tachyon, Tachyon Energy, A New Paradigm in Holistic Healing by David Wagner and Gabrielle, Gabriel Cousins, Cousens, MD. David Wagner and Gabrielle Cousins. It's called Tachyon Energy. You go online and order this particular book. It is out of this world. But one of the main things they talk about is the Kundalini energy. So even without that, that's what that is, that you can't get to sleep. It's your Kundalini energy is rising. The Earth's Kundalini energy is risen. And because of these souls now have risen with those gods, their Kundalini energy is permeating, which is also what you're also feeling. And all of this is the 2012 chakra. Yes.
All right.
And the chakras line up with the Kundalini. So it's your own God force coming into being. Tachyon Energy by David Wagner and Gabrielle Cousins. Get the book.
All right.
On the purple disc.
On the purple disc. We're going to continue on with more questions. We have about 16 minutes left to go in the forum. Calling in from area code 520. You are live in the remix. Please tell us who you are.
Peace, y'all. This is Oluwa Kayode in Tucson, Arizona. And just to, go off of what you just said, Bobby, I want people to know that, when that Kundalini energy rises, don't be scared of it. Let it come through. You'll feel electrocuted. You might be in your bed like, oh, what's going on?
Brother, yes, beautiful. Do you have a question for Brother Bobby?
All right, my bad. All right, my question is, Bobby, about 10 years ago on your tape, you said something about Thunderbird, and you said that there's a medicine woman that walks with Thunderbird. She comes and visits.
No, I never said Thunderbird. You got that wrong. I said Thunder Dog. Thunder Dog. That's who I was talking about. Thunder Dog was an entity that rose up in the Native American mounds called the Pinson Mounds. That's in Jackson, Tennessee. That's the same place where Gil Scott Heron was from, and also Lemoyne-Owen College, a black college down there. Jackson, Tennessee is maybe 2 hours away from Nashville, and they have a mound complex down there. And we used to go to those mound complexes in 1994, and we went down there and we rose up a Native American equivalent of Anubis called Thunderdog. They wore these white clothing and had this horse, and he told us to put together a Thunderdog altar. But it's interesting. But it's interesting you would talk about the Thunderbird because that's none other than Horus. That's none other than a Native American form of Horus. Native American form of Horus, and there's plenty of stuff on the internet based on that. But the one and I don't know whether I mispronounced it in the lecture, but I talk about Thunderdog. I even got a tape called Thunderdog in the Motor City. But so Thunderdog is a Native American deity that we talk about, and I used to talk about in the 90s, and that was the one I was connected to.
So is there a medicine woman along that walks with him that you said?
Probably so. You called one time. You thinking it had something to do with your wife?
Yeah, my girlfriend keeps seeing her. We don't know her name. She comes in and just, chills around the bed. She just smiles and walk away. And I don't know her name. I just want to at least greet her, say, hey, whatever. Thank you for coming or something.
Oh, yeah, well, it could be some other things. It could be a past consort. It could be several things, several things. And there's some people that can probably ultimately give you a reading and find out about those types of things. Yes.
Okay. Hey, I'm sorry, real quick. You said I got the picture package, and you have a picture here of this brother looking to the right. I don't know who he is or what his significance is. He has like a beard and mustache. He's in a copper kind of thing.
He's in a
African Venus.
Oh, that's an African king. He comes along with the African Venus. He was an African king in the 1800s. The French artist that came down, he came to visit the king, and he visited the king, and then he saw this beautiful woman and sculpted her and called it African Venus. But he has hundreds of those things. They had an exhibit in New York on the different ones. But he's just an African king, a Sudanese king from the Sudan. Yes. Okay. He's in the ancestor realm, so he's powerful. And then you got the African Venus. She's real powerful. Yes. And it documents the documents dreads from you know what I'm saying? Because there's an argument saying that dreads are only originated in the West. But this here documents the dreads. We wore dreads on the continent. Or locks, so you want to call them, or what have you. And that documents it with that statue also. Yes.
All right, bro.
Okay, but she's a form of Urzuli Danta. There's two Venuses. There's a Venus that's Urzuli Frida, and then there's Urzuli Danta, which is more of the African type one. Urzuli Frida is a mulatto that formulates in the West. Erzulie Danta is one that comes from the continent. And so that image of that African Venus for the people is only 2 color pictures you get, but that one is also Erzulie Danta. You know, and she has her story when you deal with mythology. Yes. All right.
All right.
All right, you too. Thank you for calling in. Let's see if we can get another question in here. We have 11 minutes to go, so next caller calling in from area code 312, please ask your question for Brother Bobby Hemmitt.
Hello?
312?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, all right. You know, people be talking about all this 2012 and shit. Like, I don't really think they understand what's going on, and I'm really tired of them asking them questions. I want to know as far as, like, the solar system is concerned, because we got Kundalini as far as the other planets is, like, heating up also. Is this just for the solar system, or is it going for the whole universe?
No, this is the whole universe.
That's what I thought. And what about the Olmecs? Like, they talk about, I'm trying to find information on the Olmecs, and it's like very little information. You know what I'm saying? You got anything, you know what I'm saying, further?
There's one book that came out recently on them, but I'm going to tell you what the Olmecs are. The Olmecs existed in a time when it was, they were actually, whoever built those heads, those Olmecs were the gods. They were a deity system. They were a deity system. And so there's only one way to do it. That means that the information about them was oral and never was translated into text. Just like that Apanuk, that 3-headed lion deity, was oral and was never translated into text, the one that was in Nubia that I talked about earlier. Well, what you have to do with that, if you want to find out more about them, you have to go through the channel realm of the Akashic records. And you get the information from them through the Akashic records with any good psychic or any good person that can tap in. I just so happen to have one of the best on the planet, but she can't work with nobody but me. That's why I don't even loan her out, because she can't get nothing. But when she calls, you don't have to do no breathing or nothing. All we got to do is call up. This thing's no different than calling the gods up on the telephone. It's just that fast. They are right there with it. But the only thing about it here, it was a relationship that was made for me with her because she can't do that for nobody else and stuff.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? But what you want to do is find you a good one and tap in. And this is a good question you had to come up, because this is a way that we can find out things about our people. There's more than one way. We don't have to have written text, all this stuff. Nothing is never destroyed. There's whole libraries and Akashic records we can tap into. So what you want to do is go to the Akashic realm. You might be able to do it yourself. Go in and have confidence on what is coming to you, and it'll come to you like thoughts. It might not be voices at first. It'll come like thoughts, and they can channel the information and the history for you. People do it every day. It's just that we don't realize, a lot of times we don't know that there's several ways to get information, especially the information that was in an oral tradition. And a lot of the Olmec stuff probably was and never got translated into text. So you do it that way, but nothing is truly lost. There is ways to do it. You just have to go to the psychic realm. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, so that's
okay,
how
about, we got trapped in a physical entity, right? You got any books on that as far as, like, when we get trapped and, like, the people, you know what I'm saying, we came down here?
Stuff. There's so much information, dang.
Because, they left, right?
Huh?
I said they left, you know what I'm saying?
They didn't leave. They left. They
right.
left. They're inside of your body. That's where they are. They didn't leave. We got trapped into the physical, and our egos developed, and we started thinking that we were real, while our souls were those gods that got trapped in the physical.
So is that what all this is about there? So we come in. Right. No, I ain't on that. But I'm saying,
your soul used to be this entity, this God.
Right.
And it got trapped into a physical realm and went to sleep, and therefore your ego, or the person you think you are, took over and started running things. But the thing you think that left, it didn't left. It's on the inside of you. That's the chakras I was talking about.
And that's what. And so so it's coming back. Then that's what all this shit is about, right?
That's why you having this conversation with me tonight. It's back. Otherwise, you wouldn't be having this conversation. You'd be like, Jesus is the answer. What a friend we have in Jesus. You'd be doing some of that shit.
Right.
You see, so it's back. Yes.
All right.
But get a book called Universe, Earth, and Man. Universe, Earth, and Man by Rudolf Steiner. And he goes into some of those things on how those vibratory rates fell. Universe, Earth, and Man by Rudolf Steiner, and also get his book Cosmic Memory. Now, he's German, so you're going to have to take your time to read him, because he's a hard read because he's German, you know, and stuff like that. Well, he was German. He died in the 30s. But you want to get the book by Rudolf Steiner, Universe, Earth, and Man. You want to get one, Cosmic Memory by him, and that'll go into some of that Atlantean period stuff on how we fell and you know, into this particular predicament. Yes. But the 2012 thing is now. It is a cycle more than it is a date. The date is the artificial thing. You see, it is now. It's happening now as we speak. This is a 2012 event that we are having tonight.
Yes, it is. Well, Brother Bobby, we have 5 minutes left to go in the forum. I definitely want to invite you to come back. You're always welcome here to come share on the Remix Family. And just go ahead. I was going to let you kind of sum it up to know what we're going to be moving into to continue this with ODB.
The gods are here. You got to pay attention to those chakras. I want you to get that Revelation book, and it's a step-by-step guide. Revelation of St. John by Zachary F. Lansdowne. And that particular book, understanding the periods of apocalypse, Kundalini rising. It talks about the glamour, the Maya, and it talks about all these particular things, the union with the soul. It is an excellent read. I want you to get that. And, you know, and just get a diary and just start jotting down the smaller things that you might think, and that world will appear before you. You see. Are we still on?
Yes,
Hello?
we are.
Yes.
We're still here, Brother Bobby.
Yes, and so just do some of those things, you know, and just continue. I mean, it's there. You just got to pay attention to it and stop looking for it to come. It is already here, and it's going to start accelerating, especially when you put your mind to it. But right now, you can put your mind to creating what you want in your everyday life, because that's the way the power and the Kundalini energy is so powerful in us now, until you create what you want around you. So, like I said, if you want to get the stimulus packages, you want to get the picture packet, which we're really pushing, the stimulus package, which is doing wonders, and some of those other things I mentioned on the tape, throughout the tape, you need to call 678-358-1055 to get down with those things. Yes.
Oh, yes. All right,
and Linda will be standing by. So we will be standing by. It's not a number to hobnob. It's a number to get the orders and stuff like that. So you probably won't catch me in on them numbers, but you will be able to get in contact with Linda, and she can give you some of these products. Yes.
Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Making sure Remix Family, you guys do reach out so that you can get those products from Brother Bobby Hemmitt. Make sure you join us back here next week, Friday. We'll have Brother Panic coming to share some more information with us as we continue. To share in the remix.
Yes.
And
we'll come to the resurrection of ODB.
Yes. The resurrection of ODB next week, Friday. Don't forget to get your Panic Packs at panicpack@hotmail.com. Get up with Sister Rainwater and all those brothers and sisters doing great things out there. And for those of you still waiting on readings, know that I'll be getting to you soon. And peace and love to everyone. We're going to let Brother Bobby's commercial take us out of here. And Brother Bobby, again, thank you for another amazing share, God.
Oh, always lovely. My last 10 years was based on all of the information. The last 5 years has been actual to living with these mugs. See what I'm saying? We got rituals for damn near anything you want to do, and we can give them to you tonight. That's our shit. It's a straight up ritual. You got to understand this thing of what you're dealing with here.
Introducing the Bobby Hemmitt Angelic Stimulus Package, valued at over $2,500. It comes with a magical angelic check, also including magical 8, as well as a healing disc. Everything you need to stimulate your prosperity. Contact Bobby Hemmitt for reading. You also can purchase DVDs as well as audio CDs. Come on, family. Stop relying on the blurry, drowned-out sounds of YouTube videos and get the authentic CDs and DVDs from Bobby Hemmitt himself.
All you have to do for more information is contact the Remix Radio at gmail.com or look for Bobby Hemmitt on Facebook.
Yeah, this just in, family. The new contact number for Bobby Hemmitt. Bobby Hemmitt can be reached directly at area code 678-358-1055. Contact Bobby Hemmitt for your CDs, your DVDs, your angelic stimulus package, for readings, and much more. And we thank you again for being a part of the Remix family.
This is how the spirit works.